All right.
Yeah.
So
Tell you about.
we are going to be out of here at 9 o'clock tonight. Someone be the timekeeper in the sledge.
Well, and I have to, so time, I have to put date stamps in here all
Exactly.
through, so. I know we want to do one thing first, but then I want to be able to like really have the agenda. So we can follow it, so I can
Right.
have the timestamps in it.
So I don't know if you know what Jeannie's talking about. We were asked by MMCTV. So people want to go and research what we're talking about, but they may only have an interest in Brown's Court. So they want to know exactly what time at the meeting that we're doing Brown's Court so that they can just skip to the 50-minute mark.
But what they asked was for the agenda items, and we don't do detailed agenda items like that.
Right. But if it's Brown's Court versus Volunteers Green, we'll know at that time.
And it was more so if they could be reading the minutes, and then the minutes would say 7:20, we talked about this, and then they could go to 7:20 on the TV and not
So
watch.
do you
So-
need help with timekeeper maybe?
Well, maybe every time we change a topic, I just
Okay. Just
have
know
somebody
it.
help, say what time it is.
MMC TV also, when, like, if I wanted to go to the select board meeting, they have down this somewhere, which I've used, timestamps, so you just go to their YouTube site and find the item, and it will have an hour in or whatever.
Yes, but that's what they want the
They want
minutes
us
to
to do.
match that.
Yeah, that's,
So,
Yeah.
for our meetings, I think that's a little much.
Well, and
well, we can be general.
we'll have to be general because we don't have. I mean, we've started and I don't know
Yeah.
exactly what time we started, but it's gonna be
Yeah. I'm just
Something
gonna
like-
put
3 minutes in because it's
Right.
7:03, but I don't know with
That's just-
certainty that I started it right at 7. So
It'll be close.
it'll be close.
Okay, so the first thing on the agenda is to approve the minutes from the meeting that was held on October 30th. And everyone should have draft 2. They are fantastic minutes. And Jeannie, thank you so much from the committee for doing this. But
And
they're,
others who, especially these two proofreaders right here, who
Yeah.
keep me straight.
I mean, they're awesome. And I don't know if anyone had any corrections, additions, deletions.
I didn't know, I didn't look at specific, I saw one that was Mary Lefebvre was absent. As an
On that
absent.
one,
No,
that wasn't absent, did you say?
no, it doesn't say anything.
Oh,
about
we've-
it.
I just
It
don't-
doesn't say, should,
I haven't put her name in the last
I don't think we
3
put it in.
times.
She hasn't,
I think on some minutes we have and some.
We did for a while
Right,
and then
we did for a
I
while,
haven't,
but
and-
she hasn't. I
We
think
just
she's
left it.
not.
Or was that,
Never looked.
I don't think
guess.
I put it.
yeah,
Okay.
when I send stuff out, I don't send stuff out to her either, the minute reviews and stuff anymore.
Perfect. Anybody have any comments about the minutes of October 30th? If not, can I please have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
All those in favor of approving the minutes from October 30th, 2024, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? All right, next meeting to be scheduled. Given the fact that it's Christmas month, what is your pleasure? The only thing I can think of is we may have a report coming from Bob Need. From Engineering Ventures. We may need to look at that. There may be last minute questions that Duncan has on the DRB application that looks like is happening maybe now in January.
Can we meet in January? And skip December?
Or should we, I don't know.
Maybe we could have an hour meeting in December.
There's no
Maybe-
such thing.
Oh,
yeah, well. But maybe we,
Then, so putting aside the Browns Court of it, because really that's something we're assisting with
Right,
on the side.
yes.
Let's talk about what would need to be done to keep us moving forward on Volunteers Green. And so I think my opinion is we pause on the scheduling. We talk about the things we need to talk about for your update from Bob and your update from all these different pieces. And then we decide what action items we have to determine when we need to meet next. Because we
Right.
don't need to meet if we haven't been able to make progress on action items, and we also don't want to put it off if we have things to action, kind of.
and I
thing.
also want to note that we may have John Lynn and Ben Bush's preliminary drawings by then as well.
December. I would say maybe January.
And he might pop in tonight, so if he does, maybe we could ask him.
I wouldn't put any pressure on them.
Right.
So schedule the meeting at the end when we see how much we have to do.
Yep.
Fine.
All right. Public comment. It looks like you're
You're
it.
Well, glad to see everybody here.
We're glad you're here.
Yes.
Awesome.
So I don't know what you're gonna be talking about tonight, so I'll just sort of follow along if I have
Okay,
anything to say.
because you're the only one here at the present, if you want to comment, especially if something that pertains to Brown's Court that you'd like more information or you'd like your input, heard, please don't hesitate. We're enough informal that, we don't want you not to be able to have a
Understand.
voice.
Yeah.
All right. So Duncan said he would be here right at 7, but we are going to,
Was it
7:30.
oh, he said 7:30.
That's what you said.
Oh, that's what I said.
So the next item is notes from any other meetings held by other committees, select board, or this committee as in parts is what I kind of summarized.
To
So
help me out, could we name what committees?
I didn't know what-
first Before, no, I mean, like,
What ones we
so
would
that
even
we
be
can keep
having,
in track,
so I
yeah,
left it
so-
vague, so people who've
Yes.
been to something that they need to update, mention what
So,
said update is from.
I
the
think we
notes.
should just brainstorm right now because there's been a lot of
Give me-
meetings. So we've had the
planning,
Richmond Town Meeting.
mhm.
Fran's been instrumental with Planning Commission.
there's a meeting with
I would say just those two, Richmond Town,
John, our meeting with
This
John
morning.
and Ben.
right, our meeting this morning with John and Ben.
No, even.
Our
Oh my
meeting,
God, it's been that long since
Yeah.
we've met?
yes, our meeting with
Oh my God,
John.
first
and Ben.
meeting with John and Ben, right?
Mhm.
And then today's meeting.
With Bob Need from Engineering Ventures. 4, where would you like to start?
Oh, and the select board meeting,
Oh, the select board,
Last
that's right.
Monday night.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
That's 7:08.
Well, there was another one.
Is that it?
That I did when
There were 2 select board meetings. so-
Wasn't, it would be in her minutes, wasn't it? She had listed all the dates to coming.
No, you and
Yes.
Jean were at one and I was online.
Oh,
But there were some that.
Planning Commission special meeting, DRB, that got moved back. I
And that
think
got
that's,
moved
Because I
that's the
spoke.
ones that were on the.
Right,
Yeah.
so where would you like to start? The
Well, planning commission.
Take them in an order? Do Planning Commission, so will you
Let's
do a brief?
talk about anything to do with volunteers green might be
Okay,
first. So
I have several things and
so we're only talking about the
just the
volunteer
exterior
green as it
meetings.
pertains to meetings, and then
Yep.
we'll move to Brown's
Gotcha.
Court.
Yep. I
Okay,
think that would be easier
Yep.
for all of us. For the planning commission,
7:09.
online, I guess, went to their meetings and I think I sent you out, oh no, we came here, right? I'm getting confused between
I know.
Zoom
there's been so many
meetings and in person, but they've made, which I sent out to you, they've made a number of proposals of changes that will allow us to do a lot more than what the current regs are, and I think they've been Virginia and Keith Oborn have been very receptive to our thoughts, but also they are trying to stay within FEMA regs and what is best for Richmond. So I think we've gotten flexibility that if we want to decide that it is best to remove the band shell, we can do that and put up a new structure as long as the footprint is probably no bigger than the existing band shell. If we want to do keep the existing band shell and make it accessible, we'd have to do it within the footprint of the band shell, which would negatively affect the band shell. the playground with a fence. They've made the, they're proposing some changes that would allow the playground to go up there with a fence. The only thing that they are hesitant about is dealing with adding more fill. That, in my concern with, outside of that meeting, I happened to encounter Virginia. And she said that is one thing that they feel is somewhat restricted in is the idea of adding more fill and the idea of maybe moving fill from one part of the park to the other, but I think they're still looking at that. The other thing was Jean had a question about if we move the playground up, restoring the area where the playground is as far as removing the wood chips and whatever else might be underneath. Keith's interpretation was that that would just be maintenance, so that wouldn't be an issue, even though you might have to bring in topsoil and grass seed in order to get that back to an area where it can be used by the farmer's market or someone else. So I think we've made great progress with the planning commission. I think we sent them, John Lynn had some questions, which I sent to Virginia. So before,
And just to interrupt Fran for a second, and I apologize, I took the liberty because I think John knows those. I know he knows them a lot better than I do. So I had forwarded what Fran had shared with us.
I sent it to
Oh,
him.
you had too, so good. So I just wanted to make sure we weren't going to be restricting him and his firm, or anything that he saw any problems. So I had forwarded them to them and he caught a couple.
He had a couple of
couple
thoughts,
comment.
and which I have then forwarded to Virginia
Good.
and Keith. So I'll.
You've done a great job with that and thank
You
you.
know, I'll keep watching there. So I think that's where we are with the planning commission. And I think we have to wait a little bit before to see if they deal with the idea of maybe John's concerns and before we say, okay, we're good with your concerns. And then they would then they've already forwarded some changes to other parts of the zoning to the select board. So before we say send these changes to the select board, let's make sure that that
Were
they
we
meet
on the
our
emails to from John with his whatever his concerns were? I know I saw the wording that you sent out from.
Yeah, I can send it.
Okay, just out of
Yeah.
curiosity.
Yeah.
See what he had.
If I put in
Noted.
here, like see Fran's summary notes, then do those need to be
Right,
attached?
we would have to attach them.
We'd have to
Yeah.
attach them.
Okay, should I?
Yeah,
Does that
you
make
just
sense?
Yeah,
use
they have
those
to
are,
be part of the
Okay.
packet for the
Okay.
minutes.
Okay,
I think
that's a
it
good,
was that same meeting that Virginia said that she would be sending out a letter to all the committees asking for input because apparently there's a town plan that they're gonna be working on. It expires, I think, in 2026, but they want to work on it in 2025.
but that has nothing to do with what they're working on now.
It kind of does because it addresses all the stuff that we address when we talk about parks and utilizing our natural resources, keeping things clean, that sort of thing. So it might be a selling point if anybody objects to, the amount of money you're spending.
Good to keep notice. Fran, will you keep an eye on anything going forward from the planning?
Mhm.
That would be great if you could just and see if if you happen to talk with Keith. Keith, where's it heading?
Can I ask a clarifying question on something you said?
Yeah.
You said that they don't want to get into the fill, but then you kind of said that they might. Are
Well-
they potentially considering moving fill? Or no, they don't want to do any. of that?
Theoretically, somewhere in the regs, there's something about how you could take
Right, from
fill
one
get
from
credit.
one
of
spot to
things.
the
get
other.
credit.
Yeah.
Virginia is concerned about how that really works and whether that would really meet FEMA guidelines and if we
Okay.
wanted to say, add a little fill to the plateau,
Mm.
whether that would work or not. So she was gonna do some more work on that.
Okay.
Do you think
think
we?
she,
Sorry.
I was gonna say, wasn't that at the same time, she even made a comment that she would look a little bit more into what could be made accessible and that things maybe wouldn't be ADA
Right, yeah,
guidelines, but would be considered accessible with help. And so she was thinking about like if we had to change the slope of the sidewalk or add something there, but I think that was still real iffy. And that's
Yeah.
kind of what Lynn's question was too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So that fits other questions and concerns.
Before we move off the planning commission, any other clarifying, I mean, I guess I was gonna ask out loud, but I'm not gonna, I'm gonna tell you what I was gonna was thinking. The gentleman that was here representing FEMA that night, should we talk with him?
not yet.
Okay, perfect. That's exactly what I
I
want.
don't-
Planning
think
commission
we-
wise, do we understand what happens next? So they sent the change in the wording, and then now we've sent some comments from John Lynn. What is the formal next step of this
Oh, okay,
process?
they have to, as a committee, adopt
Whatever the wording is.
whatever they feel is their final draft.
Okay,
They then have a public hearing.
again,
Like,
They have
that's what
to-
we attended. We attended.
So they would hold a
their
new one.
Public hearing, and they listened to us.
Yes.
could they hold a new one though? Because
Yeah, they
this one
have
is a
to,
different
yeah.
version. Okay,
Yep, and then if they feel they don't want to make any more changes, they then send it to the select board. The select board has to warn a public hearing and have it, and it's possible for the select board to make changes. It happens now and then, but it's
Right.
not something encouraged because they don't have
So
the wherewithal. I
when
mean,
that happens, I think one of the reasons we were successful is because we went to their meeting and we all showed up in presence, and I think that was strong, and I think that showed, we really want to make a difference. So if you could keep us just
Yeah.
up to date on those dates, that would be great.
So back to the select board then has a hearing. And I don't know, then they can adopt them.
Right.
And there may be, if they adopt them, I don't know if there's an appeal period, another 15-day appeal.
Could you
period.
just find out that?
Yep.
For the maybe possible December or January meeting? All right, are we all good with planning commission? All right, so now we're gonna move on to the next meeting we held was with Ben Bush and John Lynn, who are the owners and principals of Hillview Design. So Fran, Jeannie, and myself attended the meeting, and we met at their place, and we told them that we were very happy with what they had done at Brown's Court, and that we would like to hire them again to draw the plateau. With the existing as it stands, and then with a possible new playground, with a fence, with possibly a multi-purpose structure.
It's sort of, two plans are talked about, leaving the band shell as is. And then
With the playground.
and moving the playground up, or sort of starting with a clean slate. The band shell's gone, we have this, and trees are gone, we have this area. The playground for
And when
sure,
Fran's talking trees, I assume you're talking Landsat Garden.
starting with a clean slate up there, with some sort of structure that can hold gatherings, can hold concerts, can have people sit,
Rented for
yeah,
parties.
and the playground, and a restroom facility, a small restroom facility. So
And
that,
then,
I just thought of, from the planning commission, did they mention anything with the bathroom situation and having it connected with the potential new structure? Before it made it sound like it had to be two separate structures because it's currently two separate structures? Was anything talked about with that?
I think,
Okay.
I think,
John Lynn, I think, is talking one structure.
yeah, and I think,
With the attached
I'd have to
bedroom.
go back to
Because I
my,
know when we first met with them, when we had the public hearing, they clarified that they had to be two separate
don't-
structures, so I just was.
I'd have to
unsure.
go back to
That's okay,
my notes,
You don't-
but I don't think they have to be two separate structures.
okay.
Yeah, I don't think so either, but John was thinking saving space, putting.
No,
it down.
I don't disagree, I just was curious.
So we
They
sat in
did.
the meeting and we told them our thoughts and what we had done thus far. And they were very excited and both of them had said, we've been talking about this a lot. We love this town. We, like you all at this table, want what's best for the town. And they have experience because they built Stone's Throw Pizza Building, or they designed it. And
Experience
John-
with flood zone work.
exactly,
Yeah.
flood zone work. So they were very excited that we wanted to hire them. And then at the end of the meeting, I said, but we'll only hire you under one condition. And they look at us and they're like, huh? And I said that this time you get paid for your services. So they started laughing and they said, we'll talk about it. So they sent us a written proposal and they are going to charge, their regular rate is $110 an hour. And they'll take the job only if we will only if we charge them $50 an hour.
They charge us.
They charge us, exactly,
Town.
the town. So they said a formal proposal. At this past Monday night's meeting, Josh presented it for the committee and the select board approved it.
And it's approximately 60 hours.
Right, not to exceed $3,000.
Yep.
For the design. Any other comments?
Well, from another, from the 11/18 select board meeting, that they accepted, that they did offer the contract. But it's not gonna be, it's gonna be taken out from the special reserve fund, not from the 550,000 that was.
Josh didn't
Okay,
share
you
that.
might have
with
to
me.
repeat, well, or I'll get that sentence from you later.
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
Because, okay, so.
I
they
think we
created
need
the
to check
special
on
reserve-
that.
Yeah, they created the special reserve
are
fund
the
that put
special-
all of the ARPA
The
money
reserve
in.
fund is what we
Is what
just
we're-
created, so it's really ARPA money.
But to be
but it's
clear,
not
Chloe's
our
saying it's
ARPA
not
money.
our ARPA money, it's the.
I'm not
It-
sure.
It's not our up and running.
I'm not sure.
Okay, I will talk
I-
with Josh.
Yeah.
What are we gonna say?
I was gonna say, I'll add one more thing that I thought was great. They were, if the band shell cannot be rebuilt
Oh,
as it
yes,
exists,
that was,
I thought it was really great. Ben said, but we'd really want to have something that had
Oh,
a
yeah.
tribute or a
A nod.
holds the essence or a nod to the previous band shell. And I mean, I thought that was really thoughtful. So
Yeah.
that made me feel good that yes, they understand what that means.
yeah,
So,
So-
okay, I have a question.
okay,
So you mentioned doing two plans
correct.
Mhm.
and the concept of doing two plans and charging by the hour and 60 hours. I'm sort of questioning who the two plans are for,
Well,
because we're gonna present one plan to the select board.
right, the
correct.
two plans are for us,
Okay,
because we have to justify.
We have to be able to prove to every taxpayer.
if-
but does it have to be in the form of a plan if we're supposed to be justifying it based on cost and the idea of it and things like that? Does it really need a visual plan to justify our decision on whatever our decision is my question, because it seems like you're paying for something to serve no purpose if it really comes down to the cost and the ability to
But I-
do the, we don't know that yet. We don't know which plan we're going with, to be frank.
Mhm.
But it comes more down to the cost than it does to the visual aspect of,
When do we find out about?
Well, if the
band
band shell, I think we have to be able to look at.
But I think
We
we
have to
need to.
know how much
I
the
think
band
there's a lot of
involved.
there's a lot of visual learners. And I think if you just say something, but if they actually see it on a piece of paper, and I don't think he's gonna spend a lot of time on it, that's the impression
On,
I got.
on Plan B.
On Plan B, he's not gonna spend a lot of time on it. But it's gotta be there for visual learners, just so they can see how tight it might be. But I mean, I think, and like I said, we haven't taken a vote. And I don't think, in my opinion, we don't have enough information yet to take a vote.
Oh, no.
We can't. We have to know
Yeah.
how much will a band
days,
shell
yeah.
cost versus how much.
Which is why I
Yeah,
feel
but
like it
lazy.
comes down to not
Yeah.
the visual aspect of it. And we may be splitting hairs, but I feel like we're sort of creating two plans in a visual format to
At our meeting this
make
morning,
specific individuals happy.
Yeah.
gotcha.
And I don't
Yep.
agree with that.
Well, my thought would be that have them create a less detailed plan for Plan B
Correct.
and hopefully Plan A would be more detailed and then, but it does. It
But our
does,
plan sort of is preemptive if we don't know the costing of these things. The other aspect, the other meeting.
Right.
More plays a part.
So
In the
why don't we table the meeting with John, Ben, and the three of us for now, and we can circle back after we talk about what happened this morning.
yeah, well, we don't have one set up. Do we?
She means like right now
No,
in
no,
our
no, table
discussion.
it right now, right now,
discussion.
until we talk about what happened this morning.
Yeah.
And then we can circle back and see if we need, but anyway, they've agreed to take the job, the select board approved it. I will find out where the money came from. And like I said, not to exceed $3,000, so that's why I think it came not from our money.
It was, the money right now is in a reserve fund, and that's what they said.
All-
ARPA
all-
money is in,
Right.
is in a reserve
Totally,
fund, so it wasn't like. We're
Here's
not
our
taking
piece.
this pot, we're
Yeah.
getting it from the other pot, it's from the reserve fund, and
Right.
I assumed it was from our money,
Okay,
which doesn't bother me.
okay, yeah, we're talking $3,000. All right, so going to, select board meeting, well, let's go to Bob, since we're right on this. So this morning, Duncan, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here this morning. So Duncan, Fran, myself, and John Lynn met with Bob Need from
One second.
Engineering
That's all.
Ventures. Oh, you got the time?
No, it's okay.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I spent some time looking at his website. The firm that he started is amazing. It's huge. I had no idea it was so huge. And what I felt really comfortable about is John Lynn gave this man glowing accolades, as well as John Johnston, who was in our audience a couple months ago. They both said, he's the guy you want. He's, and then even Trey Bell and Sellers said the same thing. He's the one who knows velocity of water like nobody I've ever seen. So he agreed to come meet with us. This morning, he accepted the job. I mean, we need to bring it to the select board now. And I said, well, how much do you think it's gonna cost for you to put together this proposal? And he said $2,000. It's been approved for $6,500.
So what he's going to provide is an assessment of the current band shell as it exists and some possible costs of what he feels it would cost to get the band shell back in shape.
He is not concerned about politics. He deals with politics all the time. Matter of fact, he's one of the principals that's dealing with Memorial Auditorium right now. He's the same company. So he said, politics don't bother me. And he goes, I'm just gonna give you the facts and you guys will have to make the decisions. But I mean, I felt good. John was climbing on barrels, feeling the inside of the wood. And if you're looking at the band shell on the left, there is some rot in the wood. They didn't find any on the right, but they did find it on the left. And Bob and he's not a young man, he even was on the ground and got dirty trying to get underneath the band shell. So and they were taking pictures. And so I felt really good about his assessment this morning.
Yeah.
So.
And I think those are things that Gary pointed out to us. I
Right.
still think,
Right.
we just
Right.
have to. Yeah.
So the other thing
Question,
too,
so
I gave him, we were there probably for an hour.
Mhm.
So I gave him a copy of the 2-page article that Gary did in the Times, as well as the initial quote to Gary Bresser from Trey Bell and
Mhm.
Sellers. So he has both of those documents so that he can look at what was said, and Gary even said in those documents, and Trey Bell even said there was rot.
So he's taken into account all aspects from the roof to the cement to the, like, all
Everything.
aspects.
Everything.
And is he taking into account the accessibility issue?
Absolutely.
Okay,
We told him that, it's just not handicap accessible and he
so
sees it.
he's assessing all the things that we had wanted Trey Bell to do that they kind of said that they
Correct.
couldn't do. So he's gonna do that for this $2,000.
Trey Bell said they could do a
They
lot,
could,
they
they-
just
yeah.
were very expensive.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. No, I don't mean
No,
to disparage
in
them in
their-
any way.
In their
To be
initial
clear.
proposal, but
Right.
then
Right.
when we met with John Trey Bell,
Right,
he said he'd rather have somebody else.
Yeah,
do it.
Do it.
And then
Somebody
because
more,
This guy
qualified.
has such expertise in water.
but you guys feel like you attended both of those meetings,
Yeah.
that you expressed the same concerns
Yes.
to both individuals and
Right.
that they have the same.
yes,
And we gave,
Understood.
we told him that the town had already paid Chris Haggerty of,
To do the survey.
to do the
Mhm.
survey, so John Lynn is forwarding that to him. And so John Lynn is like working almost as our liaison as well.
Mhm.
And we told him that we're a worker bee committee. If you need anything, just let us know and we'll get it done.
Mhm.
And he was like, he goes, you already have that done. I mean, so he was impressed that the survey had already been done.
Mhm.
John Lynn's on board and he asked John a couple questions, specific questions
Okay,
this morning as well.
so that's the band shell as it stands. Is he also then going to work with John Lynn and price out and design?
no.
How does that work? How do we get a structure designed and priced out?
Well,
That's the comparable. Who does that?
John and Ben are gonna design a
They're
structure.
gonna design it, but then the pricing.
When we get that,
It would be
When
just
we-
like the pickleball, it'd go out to bid.
when we get to a point where we say, we like this structure,
Mhm.
then we can. And John and Ben can actually price it.
Okay,
Mhm.
that was my
And-
question, is
Yeah.
who does what?
And I was thinking they may even, if we do go with a new structure, that they were even maybe gonna have a couple options for us
Yes.
to look at.
Yep.
So it
But
wouldn't
so
just be
John,
for us to look at.
John's group can price the structure that they design.
Yes, because they're
They build
builders.
it as well.
They could, but I don't know when you. Whether, we haven't asked them for like a design build.
Right. We just asked for the.
With it, we would probably have to go out.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah,
definitely
for
would.
sure.
But they're knowledgeable enough to whatever they design for a structure. They know that it could be affected by flood.
Mhm.
Right,
And so, that they're
And
taking
if
that.
we
as-
did need the expertise,
of this
For-
Bob who has.
yes,
That's why I was saying,
we
is
could
do
go
they
back.
kind of work together?
Because
to
remember,
design-
we were approved $6,500, so if there were some questions about standing water. And then a
And
concerned
impact of any-
citizen sent a picture to Fran and I of standing water in July of 2023.
Right, there was one, that was the only time of all the floods that there was
Right.
water up there. Yep.
Right. So we have that picture. Any other questions now? Does that help with the other meeting? All right, so going back to select board, anything else we want to talk about that? Remember, we're still on volunteer screening. They did nothing with select board, right? With volunteer screen.
Other than apparently approving this. The
Oh, yeah.
fees
Oh,
to
yeah.
John,
They approved
That was a
the-
good.
Fees to John, right? I'm
which
so
we already
sorry.
talked about, and then you're
Right.
gonna ask the question of,
Whose money? It doesn't, like you said, $3,000.
now the $2,000 proposal, that needs to now go to the select board, so we need
Correct.
to ask that to be.
So
Okay.
what Bob is doing now is he's going back to his office. We told him we needed a proposal and he's very, very in line with how municipalities work. He
Mhm.
works with them all the time and he said that. He goes, yeah, I'll get you a letter so that you can bring it to your
Their
select
next
board.
select board meeting is the 2nd. so we
December
could get on-
2nd?
Yeah, we,
And that may, if it's only 2,000, it may not even need.
it may
go
not
to
need to,
the-
yeah, I don't know.
Right, and I'll ask Josh.
Actual no. Okay,
Okay, so I'll call him. So one question, two questions. I'll ask Josh if, because it's already been approved, do we even need it or does Josh just sign the check?
Okay.
So I feel really good about how much is happening right now at Volunteers Green. I don't know how you all feel, but I feel really encouraged.
And I don't know if this is, I should probably have added that up with John and Ben, but So a little bit later, but they have, Justin Mansfield, who's
Oh,
with
yeah.
the playground design, has shared his CAD drawing of the playground. So they could turn it around or move it around, and they're planning to work together.
Well, there's
to
a
figure
lot
out where that
happening
could
behind
really-
the scenes
and
right
then-
now.
I think we'll do playground just separately. These are just
As
other
an update,
outside
yep.
meetings. Yeah,
Right,
yeah, okay.
Okay.
But that sort of fits in there too, that they're working together.
okay. So then we'd circle back on anything that related to Brown's Court for any of these meetings?
How about the Richmond town meeting? Do
Oh, we didn't.
Is that
talk about
anything-
that, The Richmond town meeting.
we
Right,
need to talk any?
I mean, the only thing.
long
I think is,
meeting.
We kind of referred to it, and I think that the briefest of summaries is that
Thanks.
they sent, we got the funds to create us, they agreed to do a special reserve funding, and then we approved, people approved, it was voted, I don't know how you state that. It was approved to create this special funding, and then it was secondarily approved to actually move the money into it of what was remaining of the ARPA funds, about 750,000, give or take, was moved into that special fund. And then therefore from that fund, our remaining of the 550 sits in there. That's what happened. Okay. So to circle back on any of these meetings, and I think that's all of Volunteers Green, Brown's Court pieces of any of these meetings.
Yeah, from the special select board meeting on the 9th. It's not so much what they said, but my question would be, what does that removal of water and sewer, especially water from our Article 3, how does that affect us?
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
Doesn't
So
affect
because
us
they're a
at all.
separate entity within the town,
Okay,
they're not part of our budget. They have their own budget and their own like members of
Okay.
their executive committee.
okay, okay.
So 3 happen to be the select board, but they have their own committees, so they run independently within the town.
Okay.
So, and a lot of people up there, and I didn't even catch it at first, so I was like, whoa,
Well,
but it was a long meeting.
yeah.
It was the
it-
longest
It was.
town meeting we've had in
Hmm.
years and years.
It was interesting though, that at the 11/18 meeting that they were talking about the pickleball courts. And it basically said that, yes, they are under contract. Okay, and then one of the select board members said that the money was safe if for some reason the
Right.
town chose not to use it.
Yeah.
And that money would go back into the special reserve fund. And then I think it was Josh that corrected him and said the money was safe, but it wouldn't go into the special reserve. It would go into a different fund.
That's my understanding as well, and that's what Josh told me as well personally.
Okay,
Yeah, that money is all safe. Everything for Brown's Court is put aside, not even in the special reserve.
Everything for the pickleball court.
Pickleball courts,
No.
Cedars,
No,
everything
just-
we approved on that screen that night.
no, I
Um,
believe it was just the pickleball.
Just
court.
pickleball courts because
Mm-hmm.
we have a contract for the pickleball courts, so that money
Only
is
the things
safe.
that have been paid for or contracted were pulled out as already
Oh, but
paid.
the rest of it is
Still
it's
in
there.
there.
I'm not worried
That's
about
our
the
Oh,
rest.
budget.
I'm not either,
As our budget.
as our budget, okay, gotcha.
The
If,
bottom line is that money is safe, I guess. that-
Yes.
Marcy, thanks for joining us. And we spoke briefly a little bit earlier in our meeting, but Kendra's gonna pull it up so that I would love you just to, and I thank you for sharing with Fran and I, but if you want to just talk about the picture that you sent us, so it could go on record, that would be great. Can you give her time?
This is,
Okay,
7:40.
I just, yep. But now okay, so we're changing the topic.
yeah.
We're not
just-
talking about Brown's Court.
No, we're talking about Volunteers Green.
Okay.
Can you see it?
Oh, I see what you're
Okay.
saying.
I think I stepped away for a minute. I think you asked me to speak.
Right, so I shared earlier in the meeting
Okay.
about your communication with Fran and I, and we
Yeah.
have the picture up on the screen right
Oh,
now.
wow.
And if you could just
Yeah,
briefly,
I can see it.
And if you could just briefly explain to the rest of the committee members and our guests tonight, what we're seeing.
Okay, this is a picture that I first saw in a brochure that was sent to me by Vermont Public Interest Research Group, just advertising at their annual meeting. There was no caption on it. It was just a picture. And then there was some article about how we have to prepare to be more flood resilient or something like that. And I thought it was pretty interesting, needless to say, because it shows really all of Volunteers Green underwater, including if you zoom in on the picture, you can see that the water level is almost up to the floor of the band shell. So
Right.
I contacted EPIRG to find out a little bit more about this picture. And it turns out that it's a picture that was taken by the Vermont National Guard in their reconnaissance, I guess, of the flood on July 11th, 2023. So it was last year's flood, not this year's flood. It was taken at 10:03 in the morning. And I don't really know much more about it than that. But, well, actually, I take that back. I sent Denise and Fran a link to the picture on the web, and there is a whole lot more information about what kind of camera it was taken from. It was taken from a helicopter. There is a lot more kind of specs about the picture, but basically it's a picture of Richmond Village, Volunteers Green, taken the morning of July 11th, 2023 at 10:03 in the morning. And I just thought it was a really interesting picture because it pretty much shows, at least in that area of town, where the water went, including behind the Vermont Land Trust building where I used to work. That's the yellow building just up from next to the house where Chris's Cuts and Curls used to be, I believe. Yep, right.
Yep.
Yep, the yellow building. No, not that one, on Bridge Street.
Right of it.
No,
Right
up the
across-
street. No,
No,
up
on Bridge Street,
across from
right,
the
the
town
yellow
center.
building,
Sure, right
yes,
there.
yes. And it shows that whole backyard is full of water, and there's a barn back there behind the Vermont Land Trust building that looks like it's kind of surrounded by water. I was just interested in that because I used to work in that building. But that's
Marcy,
the picture, and I just thought it
right, as far
It-
as as much as I remember, and maybe somebody else remembers differently, I think this is the only time that there was still water at the band shell that high.
That's my understanding
Yeah.
as well.
It was Jean Bresser had mentioned that
Right.
she knew at
Yes.
one time there was
Yes.
water.
Jean Bresser had mentioned that this picture to us, I don't know if it was a picture, but how high the water was at that time. And today, so anyway, we heard it was standing water, not, it was water with no velocity is what we were told today,
Yes.
but it was standing water.
Doug,
And FYI, everyone, the house we're housing, the White House on the corner, Chris's Cuts and Curls, that is being demolished. It's a FEMA buyout.
This one here.
Yeah, that's a FEMA buyout and that's being demolished.
Wow, what's that?
wow.
I read 7 houses are gonna be demolished. in
Well, some
Richmond,
are gonna be
but
raised.
We don't know where they are.
or
Yeah, that one's
raised
being
up.
demolished.
Changed.
Yeah.
Mm, okay.
So just FYI.
But the thing to note is that
But this was-
several people have said that even though the water was up there, the water up there was not flow.
Yes.
Right, no, yep.
Whereas
River.
down below,
There was no
More.
current, no velocity, but the water down below where the playground currently is had a flow.
You can see it in the picture.
No
Yeah, you can
velocity,
see it in the picture, absolutely,
No.
by the flagpole.
Mhm. And so look back at the back, if that's just the roof of the bathroom back there?
Right
Yep,
there.
Yep.
Mhm.
that's
So
the
where-
roof of the
so
current
is
bathrooms.
This is this is your
Okay, the
your
top of the
dugouts.
fences.
Dugouts.
right there.
This
Okay.
is an amazing picture.
This is
And then-
your
that's a dugout. too.
hitting your
Um,
hitting
Batting cage.
batting cage
Sewage
right there.
treatment plant back where the trees are? That, yeah.
This
Yeah.
is the other dugouts
See what we
right
can't
there.
see. Yeah, okay, wow.
This is that little shed.
Uh,
They store the baseball stuff.
Yeah.
Wow. So as we told you in the emails, Marcy, this committee has made no decisions. We're still gathering tons of information, but stay tuned because Browns Court is almost coming, by the first of the year, it'll probably be wrapped up. And then we'll start working in earnest on Volunteers Green.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for
that's
letting,
great.
thanks for sharing that photo with us. We appreciate it.
You bet.
All right. Okay, so I think we've talked about all the meetings now, correct?
But we need to circle back on anything that related to Browns Court.
Right.
So think back to your list of meetings and did any of them talk about Browns Court? The planning commission, not your meeting. You didn't talk about it with John.
No,
You didn't talk about it with Bob.
no, nothing.
Anything on the select board side?
On the select board side, on the 18th, in addition to talking about the money and allocating, giving Hillview the contract, Josh was also emphasized that people could voice their concerns about the courts. But if it was a complaint after the DBR came out, with their publication, that could only be concerning things that maybe broke a town ordinance.
Correct.
Okay, anything, if there was an objection about anything else, it would have to be done prior to that.
Right.
But they also agreed to sign the permit application.
That's right.
That's the main thing.
Yep.
Agreed to sign
The DRB, permit
the
application.
select board, agreed
Right,
to
yes.
sign. Okay, thank you. To sign the DRB application.
So then is that what we get into next?
And what was the
Yep.
date of that meeting, that select board meeting?
I think it was the second week in
18.
January.
It was just,
I want to say the 11th.
we don't know
November?
for sure about the DRB.
That's tentative.
No,
The
she's.
select board
It
meeting.
was the
that-
select
I'm
board
saying,
meeting.
when was the select board meeting?
I'm
when they-
sorry,
when they-
that was the 18th.
In
That was
November
the
18th, yeah.
This Monday.
Okay, so Duncan, guess what? We're heading your way.
I'm already at, you're doing a great job all by yourself, so.
No, you are. We've just completed everything that happened on Volunteers Green and all the meetings that this committee has attended since we last met, October 30th, which we had 5 meetings. So we just updated the rest of the committee. And then, again, Duncan, thank you so much for being at that meeting this morning with us. I'm so glad that you got to hear and ask questions and contribute as well. So that's really, this committee thanks you wholeheartedly.
But I definitely want to help this committee move forward for sure.
Okay, so now let's go to Browns Court. And if you could explain to the I know I've been a little tense with you about the timing of the
No.
DRB meeting, but if you could explain why we weren't on in October, why we weren't on in November, why we're not going to be on in December, if you could just all the conversations that we've had, explain to the rest of the committee to bring them up to speed before we get into our to-do list.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's about the DRB application. I've been meeting with Tyler Macia throughout in terms of I would like a quick solution to this, but there's certain hoops we got to jump through. And basically, I think as Tess was saying, it's they can't take this away from us. We just got to get the checklist done. So once we get the checklist done, then the permit's good. We can do construction, and that's the only kind of hurdle we've got. The things I tried to highlight in the document you have up now, which is perfect, and the other application is just we just need to provide some specifics on the trees and the signs, and the longer stuff will be the engineer report for the stormwater for the parking lot, which I know there was a previous parking lot, but it's in a new place. It's a different parking lot. Tyler's told me many times, no, you still got to get that. We don't have to get a state permit, which is great. We were definitely under the threshold for that, which Tyler Billingsley did for us. And Tyler Billingsley, our engineer who does some stuff for us for the town, might do a couple other things, but we might have to deal with other engineers for what I've listed on 6 and 7 on document you have up right now. Those are probably the more time sensitive ones where those will take longer. I think you all can bang out tonight, or you and all of us in the next week or two, the next 5 items, which is basically, okay, where are we putting signs? Where are we putting trees? Just give us specs. I can put that into the application. And then Tyler Mesha, DRB, just needs to warn it to get us on the January meeting by like December 15th, I think. But mid-December, we have to get something together.
Could you tell me why, on the couple of things we actually need a cost? What does it matter to the DRB what something?
That's yeah, I would like to know that answer too, but that's kind of what's in the ordinance. I'm basically just kind of pulling and highlighting stuff on that application that Tyler pointed me to. Like 5 point, I can't remember them all. I'm not good at remembering and memorizing that stuff, so I was gonna look back at it. But it's basically those are specs based on their ordinances or regulations. But I could look into that too. But it's like I think if we just give some specifics on like, okay, we're doing Arbor Vitae, how many do we want? Like we talked about today, give us an approximate cost, and then every year we'll have our town, tree warden inspect them and provide us with a maintenance plan. I think would suffice for most of the tree schedules. The signs might be a little more difficult because there's all these little questions, but I think most of our signs will be fine. And I've kind of confirmed that with Tyler that we probably wouldn't create anything that would break an ordinance, but we would just need to double check that any sign we propose is like fitting with their ordinances.
And Duncan, I'm just gonna take a minute. We have a guest, and I just want to make sure that
Mhm.
everyone knows, even though we as a committee decided to not move forward with the bocce court, I
Right.
believe it was Josh's recommendation to put it in the permit now, so that if someday money falls out of trees or we get a benefactor, that we don't have to go through this tedious practice again. So he
Well,
said, you've got a beautiful plan with it all drawn up, do it now, get the approval, but leave it as to be determined.
right. Both Josh and Tyler confirmed that for Tyler Mesha also. It's like, no, you want to get the plan approved. I mean, we probably should have done it before we even got to the select board, but hey, whatever. It's all good. So it's we're moving forward and we're just trying to jump through those hoops and just do it the proper way. So we show the whole plan, and yes, we might not have funding for some of the other things. We've only, which you referenced early tonight, approved funding for the actual construction of the pickleball courts. The other stuff is just going under permit, so we don't have to keep applying like 20 times.
Okay,
Hey,
and
Deb-
the other thing, I just wanted to ask too, and I just lost my train of thought. Oh, my Lord. Okay, there's 2 things I had, but the second one, should we put the parking lot out to bid now in the slower season when things aren't so crazy?
I don't think we have the ability to do that so early because I think I think we should really just wait for this to go through first before we get too much else. I mean, yeah, you all can discuss that tonight. We can certainly say, hey, this is worth our while to do it. But I think the way I've seen contractors react, I don't think anyone's going to be I don't know. I really don't know. It's just it's a tough one to push through. I just think the stormwater plan is what we got to get for the parking lot, which is going to take some time. So even though you would think a gravel surface would be more permeable than a asphalt surface, it doesn't matter what Tyler Mesha described to me. We have to provide for that area some sort of stormwater collection system. It might just be a little ditch somewhere, but we just need to get some sort of plan for that.
Okay,
Duncan, question for you.
Yep.
On the signs, I noticed in the ordinance for the municipal parks, it said no signs, but then for the high density residential, It said
Yep.
one sign, okay? So which takes precedent? Is it the ordinance?
You're
for
the HDR. I think you're the high density residential. I think once again, yeah, I got to read through it again. And once again, I appreciate all the time you've all spent reading it because sometimes makes my head spin too of like, okay, but yeah, it's I think most of our signs will be fine, you know, if they're within a certain size and whatever, but it's fine to like just you all to propose that, and then we can go to the DRB and look at that regulations. I can go through that again and double check that. I'll definitely double check that because yeah, we want to go once to the DRB and be like, yes, 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 we're all good. And I'll check that with Tyler, you know, so we have that. But it's I think most of the signs should fit fairly easily. Yeah, you got to go way down. It's the worst part of the document. Yeah, it's like
So
and
don't
once
get
again, I
carried.
only highlighted it all just because I wanted to look at it again. So you got to go to the bottom, very last page almost.
I'm sorry, I apologize. So I, clarification question, I can't even speak tonight. Do we have to get a permit for the handicap accessible signs for the parking lot?
No, we just need to propose.
Just that one, as
The
you come in?
yeah, I think that one's another easy one. We're just gonna put up a handicap accessible sign at these two spots because you want two spots that are ADA and you
Right.
want 28 spots that are regular. We need
Correct.
two signs for the ADA, which should be
Yep.
pretty easy to do. I don't know. I thought there was
Kendra's
one
pulling
mention of
up-
a sign pointing
Yeah,
you in a
Kendra's
certain
pulling up the
direction.
sign right now, Duncan,
Right.
one that
No,
Jeannie.
I saw all those ideas, and once again, I
Okay.
think, you know, I didn't want to try to create those, so I think those are better created by you all because you know what you want to have there. So it's I think just better to have the committee kind of kick that aside. I can put that together in a week or two, so we have it for that meeting. It's just more the engineer's report. Can we get that stormwater plan going? And I'm reaching out to Tyler Billingsley, who's our town engineer. If he can't do it, I'll start reaching out to anyone else.
Okay, so Jeannie, will you, and then the other question, we're gonna do one sign on the actual pickleball court,
Yep.
Two signs. One
Yes.
will be hours of operation and the other one would
Right.
be no skateboarding.
What they usually do is just put two identical signs at both entrances.
Right. I gotta
all-
double check the specs, but I think most of the signs Tyler Machia said he thinks they'll be fine. You know, it's just like we just gotta just get we can't just say we're putting up signs and not give them information. They want to know what it's actually gonna look like so that they've given their stamp of approval to that.
Okay.
Duncan, one thing I ran into was that as far as I think the closest you could describe it as was wall signs in the ordinance for the town. But there's nothing there that says anything about signs on fences, or at least I didn't find it.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll look into that. I don't know.
thank you.
So are we good on signs now that it's gonna be smaller than the sign at the Huntington Gorge and it's gonna be smaller than the one at the Audubon Center?
But they need some
Dimensions.
I've got, so
The sign that you
I sent those specs tonight and then I left, I can pull that up, right? I can pull that up.
I couldn't open the attachments of the
Yeah.
other email you sent.
If it's the second one that says, this is the spec, it says classic. Yeah, that
I couldn't
classic,
open these ones.
you can't,
Mm-mm.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
so
I can send
Jean
it to him.
Agner is gonna send those to you tomorrow
Yeah.
with.
Well, Gene and I are
with-
meeting tomorrow anyways, right?
Perfect, and so she'll take
Yeah,
care
yeah.
of the signs
I'll bring it to
tomorrow.
you. Because
And Tess, will you make sure the two signs that you have for the
I
pickleball,
scanned it, but left it on the.
make
copy
sure
machine.
Jeannie knows what they are?
Yep.
That he needs
Yeah.
dimensions.
Okay.
Okay, so we're good there.
No, I think we just want to once again. I think we just want to try to jump through our hoops the first time and not get delayed. We could try to miss some items, but I think
No,
we
no.
just want to be
This
very
committee does-
careful. I think if we do these things, I'm pretty confident we'll get approved and then we'll be able to construct. within the 30-day period. And even if we do miss another month, I think we'd still be fine because we could still, stretch it a little bit, but whatever. I think it's,
But
I
Duncan,
think
I'm
we're all
nervous.
good for the money. We're all good for the money. This thing's
Right.
totally going forward. We just got to jump through a few hoops that are frustrating for all of us.
But you've got to remember that, I mean, this could come back to bite us because if we wait too long, they need 60 days for any appeals after the DRB approves it.
Right.
So we're getting into March.
I
and
thought it
April
was 30
and
days. I
May.
thought it was 30 days, but I
Could you
be wrong.
verify that for us?
Well, I think I saw it in the minutes. I think Adam
Okay.
would mention that in the minutes last time.
Okay.
Once again, I'm not the expert on this, but yes,
Right.
I think usually that is, but yeah, I've also heard it's like it's the proper intent. I'm also more mentioning like how winter cooperates and spring cooperates, so it's like I think we'll have some time there to get 60 days in.
Okay,
It would be
All
my
right.
point. And once again, we're not going to be playing pickleball on, April 30th. So, but we'll get it by the end of the year. Midsummer, I would easily hope. But once again, I don't control those things. But I think you all are doing a great job with this. And same thing with the playground. I'm here to help you out as best I can.
Okay, so if I want to summarize, you need to do 6 and 7.
Mhm.
Is that correct?
An engineer I cannot do 6
Yeah,
or 7.
I mean,
But
you-
yes,
You're gonna line
I'm
up
reaching out. I'm reaching out to engineers to do 6 and 7. You guys got 1 through 5, or
Yes.
you can tell me to invent stuff, and I'll invent stuff as best I can. But yeah, the
Well,
more
for the-
details you give me, the better. I just think
Well,
I think
by tomorrow,
6,
you'll have 1 and
6
5.
right.
Right.
6 is
oh,
easy.
number
I
1,
think.
Jeannie is doing. Number 5, Tess is doing.
Yep.
Now
6 is probably
explain what-
easy. 7's the
explain what
one
number
that's going to
2
be
is.
difficult.
No.
It's the trees, how many
So basically 2, 3, and 4
are ours?
are ours, and 3 is the one that you had along the side where the bocce was. So we priced that out already. We already have that. That was cedar trees.
Not the
We
pickleball.
priced them.
bocce.
No, the one
Bocce,
along the
okay.
bocce side.
On the Oliver
Right.
property.
Right. The
Mhm.
bocce side. Yep.
Then that's number 3. Number 4 is then the
Right.
ones around the pickleball court, which again, we also said were cedars. They were gonna go directly
Arbor
around,
Vitae's.
and that we had pricing on that, didn't we?
Yeah, but they're,
But not
we've
numbers.
we've gotta look, those prices were last fall.
Right, and those trees, and
But
that
they're the-
pricing wasn't on an Arbor Vitae.
To be
Yes, it was.
Oh, it
Yes, it
was?
was.
Oh, yeah. So to me, we have to go back out and get some real. We have,
I
we,
don't think that, it doesn't sound like that's what's sort of necessary at this stage for the DRB application.
I mean, we
because
have
we're still
relative,
gonna have a different price when we actually,
we have relative
it.
prices.
right?
And then,
And so Duncan is, like, none of these are gonna be exact, because unless you're
No, no.
contracting somebody to do these things,
I
so
think that
relative
it's not the
pricing
cost. Right.
is
It's
fine.
the number. It's the number around the pickleball courts. I
number of
want to.
trees.
Number
I
of-
want to know how many trees more. Yes, I think species native. Yes, arborvitae. Boom, we got that. Location. I want to know exact locations. How many? That's the other one of like
Right, so we
because the
just need to know
pickleball
how-
court
Calculate
is
how many.
around there, and then like cost. Yeah, throw me an easy
Relative
number.
pricing.
That's easy.
so
the
on
maintenance
number
schedule-
2, I have a question though. You say portable toilet.
Okay, no,
tree.
wait, I'll show you.
Yeah.
If you look at this, when
Right,
John Lynn did it, we have these 4 trees that
Right.
he shows here near the toilet.
okay.
Yeah,
That's what they mean. I don't know that we ever talked about or priced out having actual trees there. But it's
And you
on
can remove
draw.
that too.
So that's what number 2 is.
Duncan, getting back to the drawing of the bocce courts. When I was reading through the town ordinances, I think it's section 5.33B. It says something to the effect that what we present to the
DRB.
DRB, to the DRB committee in our final presentation, I think doing any drafts, it's fine. But in our final presentation, if that's what we present and they approve that entire plan, I think that then we are obligated to build those forts.
No, no,
No,
no, no,
no,
no.
no, you're not.
No,
Oh,
absolutely not.
no, you have 3 years to do it, and if you don't, then you have to
You have to reapply for a
Like-
permit.
You are not obligated to do anything. I can have a permit for a house, but I
Never
run
build
out
it
of
and
money.
never
I
build
don't
it.
have to build a house.
I was under the understanding that if we presented it and they approved it and it was out for public display.
Mm-mm,
Doesn't matter.
nope,
Doesn't matter. You have a permit. Look at.
you pay for a permit.
Look at
You,
Gary
you could pay to have
Bresser's,
permits all the time.
look at Gary Bresser's hill.
Okay.
Okay, see all those rebar? He's had a
He's-
permit.
Yeah.
He's not required to build, and now he probably would need a new.
Are permits good for 3 years, Duncan?
That, I don't know off the
That's what
top of
we
my
had
head.
heard.
I
That's-
do not memorize facts.
I think Tyler told us that it's good for 3 years.
So
It's
you do
not
I
a
not
trust,
have,
I trust Fran.
Not a quiz.
Quiz.
you do not have to do anything that you have a permit for.
Right. Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
they can't make you. What if you ran out of money?
Yeah. That happens.
And then my last, I think this is my last question. When we met, I think it was you and I and Josh and Fran and Denise, when we first
Oh,
got.
yeah, up
got-
here.
When we first got this with the trip generator. I got to thinking about it afterwards, and I don't think we allotted for the fact that in the springtime especially, that there would be people playing base softball as well as playing pickleball. So I'm wondering if the car number that we put in was too low.
Well, what
No,
we
it
said,
doesn't, no, my number makes no, that was I was trying to
Engineers
jump through
gonna
that
do
hoop too quick. Yeah, I just put my estimate, Tyler will have all that, whoever it does it, either Tyler Billingsley or some other engineer has a software program that looks at all that, and they will have to run that, and we can give them that information, but yes, that will all be taken care of.
Okay.
so really from us, Duncan, you need items 1 through 5. Other than that,
Yep.
you're all
Yeah,
set.
well, I need 6 and 7 from other people, but
Right,
yes,
right.
yeah,
From
I
us.
just want to be transparent of like, I'm not trying to
Fair.
slow you down in any way. I want this moving through smooth as well, but yeah, it's a slow process, and I think it's good. We just want to be transparent and careful with everything. We're all approved. We just want to hit our marks, and once again, we don't want to pay fines for not doing things correctly.
Perfect.
Switch screens.
So are you good with 6 and 7 and you know the people that you're gonna contact?
Yeah, yes. Once again, I'm pretty sure we'll be in contact in the next few weeks about how things go. So once I get information and start assimilating that, I don't have a ton of time next week because we just got a lot of other stuff going on. But in the week after Thanksgiving, I'll have good time to really get that going. So we get that December 15th deadline.
Okay, one quick question while Kendra has this slide up. Have the repairs been done on the damage from that storm?
I just got a invoice today saying it was. I haven't visually inspected it yet because the last time I was there it wasn't. But he's Moen Maintain did that, and they just sent me an invoice this afternoon. So I'm gonna go check it out tomorrow, and hopefully
Owen
it's all
Maintain
repaired.
fixed the fence?
They were the ones who ended up fixing the fence. Yes.
Awesome.
They do.
Yeah, I
about
know
it.
they've done a few because they did our some of the fences down in baseball field 1, and just for once again transparency for Mow and Maintain, they don't delay this. It's like getting parts for fences is, I guess, one of the hardest things in the world to do right now because it does take forever to get, like one certain post is like not easy to get.
Mhm.
Is what I've been told, and I don't doubt him of like, why would he yank my chain on that? It's
Right,
like, he seems to be a pretty honest guy, and he just tells me I can't get the parts. I would love to fix it, but yeah, because it doesn't take him too long once he gets it But it is one of those things in these days world where between contractors and your supplies, I think we're all set, which once again is good because we've got the contract signed. We're all good. We'll get them constructing it next year.
Okay,
Next
perfect.
spring for sure. I
Alright.
I have no doubt on that. We just gotta be a little, we'll jump through these hoops, make everyone happy, we'll be good to go.
Okay, super. But please keep us in the loop and let us know how we're
Oh
progressing.
no, we'll be in touch.
Especially if
Yeah,
there's any
I'll be in
problem.
touch. I'll be in
Okay.
touch, definitely. No,
And-
before
okay,
December
before you go,
15th, I'm sure,
anybody on
yeah.
the committee have any other questions for Duncan?
Nope, I think we need to discuss 2, 3, and
Yep.
4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because I am meeting with Duncan tomorrow to talk about the grant, whatever
Give
we
him the
figure out
answer. Oh,
tonight,
perfect.
I can bring.
Oh,
right-
We'll
yeah.
give you
No.
answers tomorrow.
How's that? How
No,
many
you
times?
are all great. No, you're all great about, reaching out in different ways. So don't hesitate. You all know where to find me. So
Okay, Duncan,
we'll
I'm
make
gonna-
this work. No problem. You're doing
I'm gonna
great
talk
work.
to
You're
you
doing a
in
lot of the
code.
legwork.
Duncan, I'm gonna talk to you in code for a minute.
Okay.
You need to have a conversation with Josh and just say boundary adjustments, okay?
Okay. Gotcha.
So just say, what can I help with the boundary adjustments?
It's
Okay.
not-
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about there.
Okay, thank you.
I thought I colored that in already. I thought we already did that. Okay, cool.
Hey, thanks so much. Have a good night.
You too.
You're
Talk to you
welcome
later.
to hang out.
Yep. Bye.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay.
Can't you just take like that? She said there's 4 trees by the portalet. Can't you just do 4 trees?
That is 4 more of those that we already. priced out.
Arborvitae's right
Yeah,
there.
$100 a piece.
Yeah.
But about the arborvitae's, imagine my surprise today when I'm heading into Burlington, thinking about stupid trees, and this is what we have to do for Duncan. And the REIT property, that's what they have around they just planted all those arborvitae's around the new storage facility.
I
So
don't know what-
you don't know the storage facility?
No, I don't know where you're talking about or what you're
Back
talking
of
about.
the
re-
old
The old
Willis
Willis
Farm.
Farm.
Exit 11 storage.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Have you seen Exit 11 storage? There's, how many are there? There's hundreds.
Do you want me to call Joy?
Yeah, will you call Joy?
Yeah.
Find out where she got them, how much she paid? Because the engineer at Quinny Club, they paid $100 for them. They bought them locally, but they were shipped from Massachusetts. Is that correct, Tess?
I'm not sure that he said what state they were shipped from. I think he just said out of state, but
Right,
I mean.
but he said they were $100. They grow a foot a year. But Joy's, and if you could get how much distance between,
Well,
because hers were
We
really
we
what?
talked about this.
Yeah, we've got.
No,
yeah,
Joy's, how.
No, we measured, we
Good point.
talked about the spacing that they needed at a meeting before.
Yes,
yeah,
Jim,
It's in the notes.
I understand if these are the emerald green arborvitae,
yes,
you plant them 4 feet apart.
Yeah, that's,
okay. Joyce looked to me, Fran, like they're further apart. But you can ask her.
one of the quotes I had gotten from Champlain Valley Cedars up in Alberg were for 5 to 7 foot tall tree. They were $75 to $80 a tree plus delivery, and people had, that didn't include planting.
Right.
That, and then I have a quote from someone else that I'll have to find, but I think 100 is more reasonable per tree.
Yeah, and that's what they paid, and they're beautiful trees. I'd be anxious to see where. Like Joy got them, if you don't mind calling her, that'd be
Yeah, I
great.
can call. But my question would be, around the courts, do not think we need them on all 4 sides of the court.
I think we had talked about them being, let me pull up, I was trying to pull up our quotes that we had.
That's number, oh, so I was gonna say, if we could do 2, 3, and 4 in order.
I think
Okay, so
Or-
number 2, let's do 2
How
first.
many
it would be
trees?
$400.
$400.
That's
Four,
what
4 trees.
4 trees, $400.
Okay.
And as far as the maintenance schedule,
They're arborvitae's.
they may need to be trimmed every
Right.
couple of years.
Prune off the dead, but
Couple-
that's
We'll say
Um,
like
So have the tree
$2,000
warden,
every
The
3
tree
years.
warden,
have the tree warden go every 2 years and
Why can't I? show this?
exactly.
I think
Sure.
your main maintenance is right at the beginning when you first plant it, that they have to be watered quite frequently,
Right.
especially I think the first month or so. How, do you remember how often you were?
Just so you all know, I planted trees and you drive, my property is 88 Brownsport.
Right.
Anyhow, you notice I put 3 again for summer.
Oh, I didn't.
Yes, that's because they're only about this tall. So just for reference, the trees that I had were about 2.5, 3 feet tall when I bought them, got them from Pockets. And they were $75 a piece.
Hmm.
That's the retail for.
Oh, that's
a tree
awesome.
This size. When you plant them, they have, whoever's gonna plant them has to, there's a certain amount of soil preparation before you drop them in. Not terribly complex, but they do need watering on a regular basis for the first, at least for the first month.
When we planted the trees at the round church and the sycamore tree by the band shell or back of the band shell, they were saying at least twice a week. And like 5 gallons per, that was for, deciduous trees. Now, maybe you don't need 5 gallons per tree, but you certainly would need, somebody would probably have to have somebody to go with a hose.
Mhm.
Water them.
Yeah, that was really not, I was gonna say, that's gonna make it much easier. You had to care, I
Oh,
just
yeah.
did the one tree.
Well, so we'll have to have,
Every
they'll have
Monday
to have
you
the
had to-
spigot installed before
Ah,
Yep.
Yep.
they do that. But, okay,
So
So-
we're on 2 and
so-
2 is done.
then if,
we need to
wait,
know
hold on, so if
exactly
he
where they
paid-
go.
But if he paid $75, then is that the pricing we use?
I'd rather
Oh.
go with 100.
100,
Go with
say
100,
400.
'cause if we had, maybe they would be 100 installed. And
So the answer to all the pieces, right? So if we say species, arborvitae, which is native, location. Number 2 is in the picture, you can see them
right,
as 4 right around the potential porta
Porta.
potty situation. The number of them is 4, the cost is then $400. And then the maintenance schedule will be for all.
I don't need to put that in the notes, I just need it.
You need it
here
for- yeah, sending it, yeah,
For Duncan,
exactly.
I'm typing all this, and it's like, no.
So, and then the maintenance schedule would be for all 3 items, and we can talk about that when we've talked about how many there all are in a minute. So that's all the items for number 2. Number 3 is then the ones, like I said, I was gonna show the picture.
the property line trees. So are you talking about the Carol
Hold on.
Oliver property?
Hold on,
Yeah.
show you the picture.
You're so good.
Those are the ones that sit right here. And these are the TBD ones
Yep,
at this point, because they were only gonna be planted if we still did a bocce,
correct.
right?
Yeah.
Because we didn't price those in our plan.
And
that we
Jim, how do you
proposed.
feel about that? If we don't do them, if we don't do the bocce?
If you don't do the bocce, I don't really have a problem with them not being there.
Okay.
So,
But should we still get them approved?
right,
Yes,
so the idea
absolutely.
is, so then we'll count, say, I don't know how many that is. I think we just ask John how many little dots he put there.
There's
should
way too many
30.
dogs.
Way too many. Way too many.
Way more trees than we need. So either we have him tell us how many are there and we price it as that as a TBD.
What's the
or
length of,
we have to have him
what's
adjust.
the length of the bocce court?
It was
110?
80 by 85. 20.
what it said in here.
80 by 20?
Bocce
So-
court is 24 by 80.
All right,
24
so,
by 80.
so
yeah,
there would be
thank you.
20 trees right there. If they're 4 feet apart, right? My math this late, okay?
So
So there'd
20
be
times
20
100 is
trees.
$2,000.
Wait, are you on pickleball?
No,
Not-
item
not-
We're on that
3,
tree line.
Okay,
property line.
Yeah, property.
property line, that's by the
Number
bocce.
3.
Right.
Yep.
Okay,
So again, same species, location is right there along.
Jim, can you help the committee? I seem to remember that there's trees there as we
There are some
speak.
trees there.
There are a bunch of trees that, some of which are gonna have to come down sooner or later that are on my
Mhm.
property.
Right,
But as far as trees actually on the athletic park side. Don't think there's much of anything.
Kind of junky stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
Brushy.
trash trees.
And trash trees, okay.
Even that, it's more down toward the other end, toward the ball,
Right.
toward the ball field.
Okay, so you're good, we're gonna put them in. And if we do bocce, we know we have to do trees. If we don't do bocce, there won't be trees. That's okay.
Fine with me.
Okay,
So I
Rick-
think, Jeannie, when you talk to Duncan, I think that that needs
Still
to
need
be
to-
clear in the application, because as it currently sits, cedar trees in his application falls under the parking area. And he talks about it as screening along the front section of the
see what
property
she's
line
pointing to.
on
Right
the
here,
very first
over here.
page. You
Babe.
have this right there on the first page. See right here? It says parking area. Cedar trees are providing screening on the front section of the property line. That's not really true.
It's for the bocce.
It's that sentence is
Okay.
only related to
Cedar
that
trees are
section.
provide screening along the bocce.
So I think he needs to be more clear and have the cedar trees be listed as the pickleball court screening. He has them down here for cedar trees in the pickleball section, screening at the edge of existing trees. That needs to be changed to around the pickleball court.
You just have to know that the trees.
These ones are,
Right. If you look at the map right here, Gene, you
Mhm.
just have to know that,
Not that many.
but this is
Yes,
where.
that is the line.
Yeah.
and so really this should be put under the bocce section, which is timeframe TBD.
Yes, okay.
And then this one is this one down here with the pickleball. We'll get into that. That's item 4, pickleball tree specifics. It should say cedar trees screening around the pickleball court, not at the edge of existing trees / toe of slope. Because we changed that.
So Tess, the picture she has up. So you envision, I just want to make sure I'm seeing this correctly. There's a door going from the front and there's another entrance coming from the back. Or are they typically on the sides?
It varies from place to place.
What would you like?
I'm thinking maybe one in the front and one on one of the sides.
I
Well-
like the way Quinny was.
What's
Doug
the
in this
front?
Well, so
What do you call the front?
Well, the courts are going this way.
Yeah.
So Fran, the courts are going horizontally.
what I would call the front, and I think we talked about that we didn't really need it all the way along this line because it's not blocking from anything. It's mostly here and then with an opening like this and maybe some that goes,
Around
but
the
we
corner?
didn't really want to
So is
get
that
too
the
close
east
over
side
here.
or?
So it would be,
Because this doesn't
it goes
go
north to south.
over here.
North, south,
Yeah.
so this, that would, long
I
side
think
is
you
the
could
east side.
eliminate those
along
trees
To the street?
on the
Yes.
left
To the east.
hand,
This
on the
one.
left hand.
And then here, I think you still do want an opening. So can
Yeah,
just
you
have
have-
this,
You want an
this,
opening on that front side,
like
yes.
that. Have it be.
That would probably be better because if people stop to talk in the door, it wouldn't be affecting the neighbors on the right.
I think you do this as a flat line of them. Here.
Is there a gate on that end though?
And then
to
this
get
is
out?
all open, and this is open.
I agree with
But-
that, cause
but
it's gonna let.
isn't there a
light-
gate?
There's more neighbors close here.
But isn't
Wait,
there a
wait,
gate?
wait. So
at the
you're,
back?
wait. So first, can we talk about the doors? Are you thinking not a door on the top against the next street over?
On the north
Yeah,
side?
no, I agree. I
No,
totally agree.
no,
I'm thinking on the right hand side.
Yeah, I'm thinking on the side closest to the ball field, we should have another entrance.
Over here,
Yeah,
in this side that we don't have.
right. So that there's a full tree, and all the noise and stuff happens on the other side.
Yep, so then this is blocked with trees, this is blocked
Okay.
with trees, there's an opening here.
And then no
door
trees
over here,
anywhere
no-
else?
No,
So just do the trees from the right all the,
All the way across here as an L.
yeah?
that's the
and all
east
the way down
side.
this. So.
Yep.
Flat, all trees, no openings. Here, I think you have trees here, just like it shows with an opening.
Right,
This side, no trees.
I
and a
agree.
door opening.
Now, how does everyone else feel about that?
What about on days where there's softball games or?
it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter,
They're gonna be-
yeah.
The trees is not to like shield you so that nobody can see you, they're to like,
You're
If
gonna,
it's
You're gonna
noise
allow
from the
light in
neighbors
there to
not
dry it out.
that's the point of them, it's not to
So
shield the people who are in
arborvitae's
the
get
front.
tall.
no,
They're
Yeah.
to shield.
It's gonna,
people
if you
who-
have trees all the way around it, it's gonna be
Yes.
this damp dark.
I even wonder about the entrance there then. Because,
Here?
yeah, if like, you know, I'm always concerned about going,
Close to this parking lot for those accessibility though.
no, I mean, do we even need trees
Trees
there?
there.
Oh, at all right here?
I think so.
On the
I think
left,
just for the
if it's on the,
aesthetics,
if it's
Yeah,
on
I
the
I think it would
east
look so
side,
pretty.
Yeah,
I don't know that it's necessary, but it
okay,
probably would.
so on each side of the gate
Just
then.
on the corners as an entrance.
Just a couple. See, like it shows like 1, 3, 4, 5, 5 and 5 or something.
So we only really need,
So is that 20 feet, Tess?
So,
How many feet wide is the pickleball court?
60 by 120.
60, so
Right,
that's
120.
40, so that's cool. So that's not, yeah, good, perfect. So you're doing the 60 end?
no,
We're not doing
No.
either of the ends.
No, no, no. We're gonna do trees for aesthetics on the bottom.
on the,
Put your
you're
hands up.
gonna do
again.
5 and 5.
On the
Yeah,
south
5
end.
and 5. Yeah, 5 and 5 right there, just for the
And then across
aesthetics.
here is 60 and you just measure that as how many feet apart, so how many.
4 to 60 would be 20 something trees.
No, 60,
On the east side,
How far apart? did we
60
just say,
divided
3
by
feet?
4,
4 feet.
50.
Oh geez, I
So
can't.
that's the account.
I can't add.
It's 15.
It's
15.
15 trees.
So then that would only
on
leave,
the north
Fif-
end.
so you do
Yep.
15 trees.
Yes.
across
And
here.
that would be great because that's where the other development is.
Mm-hmm.
And then, okay, 120 divided by 4.
30.
Then you do
30 trees on the east side.
So that's 30 plus 15 plus 10.
Got it.
And we'll have to have John Lynn adjust the tree pictures, and we'll want to make sure that this has the 20 trees we just.
And the entrance will be changed too.
Yes,
Have him
right,
change the, so who mentions that to him?
Because we'll have to have him.
Let me
make
send
sure
a
that
little
these
drawing.
20
Will you?
I can send the, if I'm gonna do this for
Yes,
Duncan, I'll
take
do
care,
it. Yep.
because it's so swamped.
Yep.
tomorrow, It's not even funny.
So yeah, so you'll, just to be clear.
Well, John doesn't have to have it tomorrow,
Yeah.
Exact, this is 20 trees. 5,
But-
5, 15.
okay, but those 20 trees are only
Yeah,
if a
Temporarily.
bocce court, so on that TBD.
Under the.
And point on the other side where the other entrance would be. I just want to make sure Tess is agreeing with this. I think we put it closer to the end 2 courts.
But then would.
In the middle, so people go left or
well,
right,
I've not,
or not.
haven't
No.
played pickleball, so you've got,
Yeah,
if I hit the ball and it goes out,
It's not,
But it's fenced in,
yep.
to be
but-
clear, so you're just looking at where the gate is to get you in.
Mhm. So if
So
you have
we
one
need
in the
to-
middle, it gets you to
I don't
all
think we
courts.
decide
yeah,
that,
That's true.
right.
Because technically it's not even on the drawing here.
Yep.
And so then when they do they'll talk to somebody who is
Ah.
looking
so somewhere on that side, there's
somewhere
not,
on that side based on what the pickleball people say that it should be. It's somewhere here.
Tess, are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay,
So to be clear, so let me make sure I have, I'm gonna look at your notes and make sure.
Yep,
Confuse you.
5 here, 5 here,
Yep,
30 here,
15.
15, no here.
This one to the section down there, yep. and the
Mhm.
basketball court.
And I'm just
Yep.
writing
Yep.
20 trees if
We do it, yep.
when the court is built.
And it's, we are using the pricing of $100 per tree for all of the costs.
Mhm. Yep.
And.
how
we're all
about if
saying
I go
that-
down
I'm
and
just
talk
saying-
with Paquettes?
Why,
Why?
we don't need to know
We
that
don't-
We
right
don't
now.
need exact
Don't
numbers
do
yet,
that.
Okay,
And,
just wait. So,
I did
Let's-
talk,
and all we need, so then that's, oh, I'm sorry.
they're not in that,
in the wholesale,
well, right. I'll talk to Joy. I have
okay,
the I have one contact, one from Champlain Valley Cedars, and somewhere in my notes, I have another.
so we're gonna
contact.
need roughly 79 trees, is that correct?
Well,
30 plus
15 plus
20,
30 plus 10, 40
No,
plus.
no, but then we've got 4 around the toilet,
Mm,
TBD,
TBD, yeah, TBD, okay.
20 along the bocce TBD. The
Right.
only ones that are of certainty are the 30, 15, and 10.
Right,
That's it.
okay, 25, okay, 55.
That's
So
all that's certain.
55 are absolutes. 55. Number of trees, species. Management plan.
So why is the bathroom TBD?
Because I don't know
I
that
don't
we
think
really
it'll
had it
end
on the plan, but it was there, and so we should get a permit.
Yes.
But we never really talked about
Do we
actually
need it?
having screening around the
Well,
porta
wasn't it
potties.
brought up at one of the
Yeah,
meetings
it
actually
was.
by the neighbors that they didn't want to see the bathroom?
It's been there. Oh.
There's a neighbor involved, yes, that's correct.
Yeah,
Ah.
that would be nice.
Are we shielded?
So I think you should add the 4.
I do
if
too.
necessary.
Well, I think that we're putting it there, but like we technically,
And it may be,
I
it
think
may
the
be
pricing
cheaper
is-
to build a T111 and make a, a nicer thing that encompasses it all,
We have,
and it's open from the front.
at the round church have lattice work
right,
and 2 lilac trees.
Lattice work would be less maintenance than an arborvitae, wouldn't it?
Mhm.
And you would not have anybody hiding behind the trees.
Right.
That's what, when I was talking about the entrance there, it's always, but that's not gonna be a nighttime entrance. So that part doesn't matter, but the bathrooms, I think. I don't know,
Yeah, you
any idea, any
don't want the
thought?
bathrooms to be too
Closed in.
closed in.
They also have to be able to get
Yeah.
access in and out easily, so
I think
Trees
it's showing
grow.
the trees around
I don't know.
2 sides.
but I think we,
Is this bathroom considered to be a permanent, or are we? looking
No.
at
A portalet.
Portalets. Yeah.
but I think that the piece that why I say TBD is primarily that we also consider doing something fancier, and if you plan something around portalet,
Use their porta potty.
then
Mm.
that's one size, but then it's that size. So I don't know that I'm against it. I just don't know. I think that we start with it as a TBD so that we figure out what we exactly want to do pricing wise. Because we didn't get that technically approved in our plan.
So then do we have to say, do we have to have anything else approved at this time around it?
I don't
Because
think
we don't
right-
know what the pot, we don't.
I don't think so
okay,
yet.
Yeah.
But I just think that that's why it's kind of, I don't know that we need to specify a TBD on the. I think we just
Since
leave
we're
it as-
talking about portalets, and I just want to put this out there, I've been thinking about it. Is it up to us to go to a budget hearing and to make sure they're gonna do the handicap accessible bathrooms again?
I don't think you get bathrooms that aren't handicap accessible.
The
Oh,
portal.
we used to.
Yeah, but I don't know that you can anymore. Can you?
Yes, you can.
Portalets, we get one at the round church every year.
Well,
No,
so-
but
No,
I
no,
didn't
but
even know you
we had never, until we started our project 14 months ago, we had never had handicap bathrooms.
They were all
Well,
just the
because they're
regular.
cheaper to not get them.
Right, so, but remember, we asked at a select board meeting, and they made them handicap accessible.
I mean, if
up
you,
there
if you
and down
wanted to
here.
go and mention
You know,
that would
maybe
be
I'll
a good
just,
idea, then.
maybe I'll
I-
mention it
I
to
feel like that's
Josh.
perfectly fine. I just don't know
Just-
that we need to
I
like,
just don't know if it's our purview to
it's
be
not,
sure.
it's, to be frank, I don't think it is, but if you wanted to just bring it up
Okay.
in case they didn't think about it or forgot or what have you.
Okay.
But
I'll
Yeah.
bring that up as our third item with Josh. Okay, anything
okay,
else?
so wait, that's all the answers you needed for 2, 3, and 4. Correct? That's all the pieces.
And you're doing one.
Well, let's talk about
And 5.
maintenance for a minute
Okay,
on the
yep,
trees.
Yep.
So
Watering.
what we've said about maintenance for, in general, in the tree situation, not when they're planting it, the actual maintenance.
Yes.
Is that
Tree warden.
something like every 3 years, the tree wardens should assess for what's needed. And we left it at that. We didn't give a dollar value to it, but that it should just be assessed.
Right now, the tree warden is a volunteer job.
Right, understood, yeah. That we can't make them do that,
But
but that's
she-
our recommendation.
She spoke to me and she said that she would be providing a budget to, I think
Right.
I had told somebody.
Yeah, but she doesn't know anything about these trees.
Because they don't exist.
Exactly,
And these trees are gonna be a lot less maintenance, and a lot less issues
totally.
than the trees
Right.
that she really needs to be concerned.
So
concerned
all I'm
with.
saying is for this application, in the need of mentioning a maintenance schedule, I would simply mention it as every 3 years or so, have the tree warden assess all tree needs for the park,
Mhm. But that brings up a
Period.
good point,
not just
Fran.
these.
We have,
3, 4.
when we were designing the parking lot, we went to the parking committee with, I think we were asking for 10 spots. And they told us, no, 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 I think we were asking for 15. And they said, no, 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 you need a bigger one. You at least do it for 30 with 2 handicap. That was their recommendation. Could you make a call and just let her know what we're doing with the arborvitae's up there, just to give her a heads up?
Mhm.
I think that's only fair. And just give her a heads up of what we're doing up there with the arborvitae's.
Possibly include that in your budget if she hasn't already developed it.
Yeah.
Okay, so just make
So-
arborvitae will need to be watered frequently for the first 3 months and then the ongoing.
First month, the
month,
first
he said.
3, 1 month.
I've
Other
maintained
trees-
For the first couple of months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you did,
I
okay.
was gonna say that.
We
I
were
know that was
told
the
at
other
the round
ones.
church that
Okay.
Any tree I've ever had, that's what
Okay,
they always say, fall or spring.
4 feet apart.
And then the other maintenance is the tree warden, see if I have this, the tree warden will assess need every 3 years.
Yep.
Maintenance need every 3 years. Okay, along with the rest of the trees in the park, but I don't think I need to put that in there, 'cause
No.
that's not,
Nope.
it's only pertaining to this, okay.
So then that's all the items for 2, 3, and 4 that you'll then let Duncan know.
Mhm,
Nothing further to do other than that.
mhm.
So then 1 and 5,
Tess is gonna do 1. The 2 signs on the pickleball,
that's 5.
Mhm.
Pickleball signs are.
I'm
5.
sorry. And Jeannie's gonna do 1.
But one I do want to talk about, because,
Mhm.
you know, I said, my suggestion was we go with a smaller one. It sounds like that's what you guys agree with. So,
Mhm.
okay, then that's easy. And those specs were
And,
just,
and should we put it on Mr. Oliver's lawn?
sure, right in front.
Where the current sign is?
Is there, do we have, I thought that is there a picture? Like it should be right at the end of the parking lot or the side, because it would be the things that have like the no dogs, you know.
That has,
leash.
had the picture in
Put in
here
there.
that looks like, let me pull it up, but it's bad in that non-color versions.
Yeah,
Right down to the bottom of this page, you can see the one that we originally.
picture.
That's the one that we originally,
Yeah,
So you know how people are starting to tack on the board that Mike put up? They're putting up about take care of your dog. They're putting up all kinds of signs on that sign. That sign's gonna come down, I promise. I promise it's coming down.
I can make it come down.
Yeah, I know you can, but that's what we're proposing, something a little nicer with some
not
plexiglass.
on your lawn.
Not on your lawn, not on your lawn, in the proper place.
okay,
Do you-
but
You prefer it on the right as you come in or the left as you come in?
as I was gonna say,
Really matters to me.
Okay.
I just wanted to know where, is it already in the plan?
Because there's more room and you'll see
We
it when you
talked
come
about
in.
having it here. That's where it shows in the.
Yeah,
picture,
Gotcha.
like-
and then people
That's
see
good.
it.
On the left, more likely to see.
Exactly.
That's your point.
And
Well, your
maybe,
bathroom is over here, your in our current plans. So yeah, we had it drawn in for here.
so can we circle back to the bathroom just for a sec? I think, I know there's 4 trees right there. I think I'd like at least 2 trees just to take some of the ick away from the portal.
Yep.
Just as you come in for the aesthetic.
I think we're leaving it on the plan as 4.
Oh, okay,
I don't think we're changing it.
okay.
I think we're just, when it comes to
You want to
doing
turn
it,
2, 2.
you'll decide what's appropriate at that time based on the size
Well,
of.
no, what I'm
portalette
saying
you
is
have
I
there,
think
et
I'd
cetera.
like
I think you
2
leave.
definitely and 2 to be determined.
Well, I think,
Well, let's just
All
put
of them
4 in
I
and
think you just
Yeah,
say
put
4.
4.
You don't have
Okay,
to tell them what to be or anything like
Okay.
that. We could simply say, we want 4.
right.
We've priced it out at $400. We decide at that time. Yep, we've got a portalette sitting there. We want 4, plant them.
Just don't know where they are until we know what size portalet it is and.
Hey, Jim, did you ever find out why the portalet got moved to the center of the field? Weirdest thing. Oh, you can?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Contractors often like,
kids.
somebody goes into
Which
the
is why it
bathroom.
might be a better
yeah,
idea
take
to have
around,
some
pick it
kind
up
of
and
little,
move it.
that it like,
They're on skids in a way.
Yeah.
You can
Gotcha.
just, then they're like,
yeah, to be clear, I think in our DRB, we're saying we're doing 4.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Period.
Right.
You're gonna be right about there. Give or take wherever the portalet gets dropped.
Perfect.
Once the trees are there, it'll be more clear where the portalet should be.
All right, anybody else have any comments, suggestions?
We should go with, are there any more questions from either Tess or Jeannie on signage? To be able to answer items 1 and 5
Except,
for the committee.
do you want to get that to me right away in the morning? So that I can take it to Duncan, or you'll just send it to Duncan? When you,
Those are,
you just send it to
No,
Duncan?
when he wants specifics, does he want the wording on?
No.
No, no, no.
No,
He
just
wants the
size.
dimensions.
Just the dimensions.
Just the
I can,
dimensions.
I can send it to him.
Okay,
Okay.
And I'll send it to you too.
okay,
because we have he has the picture in here of our
Yeah.
potential wording.
yeah.
Are you gonna be at the DRB and run this for Duncan?
Me?
Yeah. Yes, please.
I mean,
Yes, please. Would you?
I guess so.
Thank you.
Is this what you're looking for?
Perfect,
Exactly. Yes.
perfect.
Well, here, you want me to just take it, or you have to make a copy?
Not sure I have another copy.
Okay.
I'll send.
Isn't there one that, so there's one that says
Do you want me to just take
no
a picture of it?
skateboards, da, 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 da.
I'm sorry.
No, it doesn't,
Isn't
it's not
there
the
one-
wording, we only want this, we only need the size.
You might
Don't
have
worry.
to
Oh,
take
no,
a
that's fine. So we two of those that size.
That'd be great.
And if at some point after the DRB, if there happens to be where you need to modify the sign, you can go to Tyler and get
Yeah.
a sign permit. I
Perfect.
mean, I had to do that for the round church.
Okay,
There, I'll just give him that test. I'll just give him the picture with the picture that I have,
That works.
for the sign measurements.
Yep.
She'll send me the picture and.
Hmm?
If I get the picture from her, it's all taken care of.
Okay.
I'll just. Now, you just mentioned though, that sign, that kind with plexiglass, that's not what the specs look like that we
right.
are sending him.
The one.
The one
you
that I have the
sent
specs
is
has a
much
little-
nicer looking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes, and I think it does have a section, it looked like it was part glass or part,
plexiglass
Something to hook
Sometimes
on,
they,
yeah.
they have like half glass,
yeah.
and have
half
whole
where,
bulletin board.
Yeah, and that thing is, those are just specs. What I do like about the Huntington Gorge one was the sign that was up on there, but I think whoever designs it, once the specs go out, however it looks. Okay,
I would know a good volunteer to do it.
perfect. Okay, so in the minutes, all I'm putting is discussion about these, see Duncan's notes. We have to get details for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to Duncan. We discussed and assigned the tasks.
Can you remind me which email address you are using for the?
Well,
23.
because I can only send the pictures to
23.
to my home one though.
Oh.
I could not get the pictures. I have to
Which one do you want me to?
send this one to the home one, Jeannie.Agner. Every time, what I have to do when I do a picture,
Oh, you have
I
to
can't
forward it
figure it
to
out.
you?
I forward it
Oh
to
my God.
myself and
Oh.
then I copy it. That's the way I can do it.
I'm
That's
right
why
there
you get
with you.
these.
Everybody needs a Kendra in their life.
Hmm.
We need you.
Not my mind. Again. So, okay, that's all the questions anybody has about Duncan's questions. So we can move on from the application.
We can move on. So
we
we've
got 15
done,
minutes.
that's right.
He took the words right out.
We got 15 minutes.
Exactly.
Okay,
No,
I
we
got
don't
lots
even
of
need
time.
15 minutes. Marcy, I
No.
just want to give you another opportunity. Any comments?
No, I'm just sitting here listening.
Okay, good. So we have done everything on our agenda.
Well, I wanted to update you about the playground
Playground.
Yeah.
design review,
Perfect.
the fence and the restoration quote that we got. And I want to tell you, I have a couple questions about the grant or a couple new observations.
Perfect.
So let me write that
No
it's,
pressure, but you have
a-
13 minutes.
I can do this because I already wrote, I have it written down right here. I can read these to you. So the playground design, Megan, Tess and I met and I had invited 4 other people who were at the feedback meeting or who had expressed interest, but Christy Winters was the only one that joined us that day. And we just sat around and looked at the plan that we had been given by Justin. And we tweaked a few little things, like, I mean, for example, let's not have the ladybug riding toy. Let's have the bumblebee riding toy because it fits 2 people in it.
Instead of
We said, let's do the green color. We put in his proposal, he had taken the roof off because that was $7,000, the roof off of the tower. We said, put it back in, but if we have to take it off, put it back in
Like it
so that
was, yeah.
it's in the design
Right.
that goes to John Lynn.
Mhm.
So there were, I mean, I have a list of little tweaks, but when I'm saying little tweaks, they were really little tweaks.
tweak some things to allow
Oh.
better flow to go through too, more
Perfect.
water to go through instead
Mhm.
of getting hung up on stuff.
Yes.
And did add a small structure for 2 to 5-year-olds.
Mhm.
There's a little teeny house that more toddlers and preschool kids could play in. And then, but there
Oh.
was not a separate structure for 2 to 5-year-olds, and it really is like steps that go up and over and steps that go down.
But it's still a place for them, for those cautious parents that don't want them running around and getting run over by the older kids.
It's their
They
place.
can still
Yeah.
try to.
So then I got an estimate for the fence
And did you get the estimate from the same
from
company?
Effie Hart that Mr. Hart himself.
Ooh.
That estimate is for $14,188.62, which of course will be changed a little bit. It's not exactly the fence, well, that's in this picture. It's not exactly, and it's not exactly the one that's at the cemetery, because I think that one has little spikes on the top, but I'm not positive.
Yeah.
No, it will have a flat bottom that could be raised maybe 3 to 4 inches,
Mhm.
however high, just so a toddler won't crawl under it.
But
So
it'll allow
it,
water.
so water could flow under it. And then there's a little design here at the top
That's beautiful.
and all that. You can't tell at that picture, but in this picture, there's a full one, a spike, a full one, a spike, and it would just be closed so that kids can't get hung up on it. There will probably be 3 gates. And one will be large enough, like either a double gate or a large gate, so that the mowers or a pickup truck or, something,
Yeah.
when they refill the engineered wood fiber or something like that. So we'll make sure that's part of the fence.
And Effie Hart's not installing it, that's White's, right?
Yes, and I don't have an estimate for the installation yet. It was more so that John and Ben could have a picture to put in. So I have to send that to them. And then when I was looking at the grant, and I'll tell you more about the grant in a minute, but we were talking about also restoring the area where the current playground is. So we have to budget for what that will cost to topsoil and sod or grass seed or whatever. So Fran got a quote today from
Mow and maintain.
And it's almost $10,000.
Well,
This
no, no, no.
dismantling was the 12,000,
Yeah.
that meant, and that's in Justin's
Were you putting the
quote.
I didn't
space
tell them
back
anything
after you
about this.
removed
man.
Oh, yeah,
They
yeah.
put
But
that
that's
in.
still almost 10,000. I'd say $9,950 is pretty close to $10,000.
I think that quote is high to me, but.
I do too.
Well, if it will
So
need,
that's for taking the wood chips out.
well, there's all
Yes.
gravel underneath. So there's a thick layer of gravel, then there's a thick layer of the wood fiber. It would be, and the boards, well, who knows whether the boards will probably become around it, but then it would need to be topsoil. They said they'll pull the fabric paper up, the stone out, they'll replace first with with topsoil and then heavy seed the area and then put hay down. And they'll put up a temporary green fence around it so that until the
Yeah.
grass is grown.
Gotcha.
Can I
So
ask a dumb
I don't know that
question?
you have
think
to
it's-
take all the gravel.
Right,
out.
that's what I was gonna do that.
Yeah.
Is this a dumb question, but like, do you have
Like-
to remove the gravel? I mean,
Not if you're putting.
it's not
top-
like
just
it's
like maybe
garbage.
2
It's
or
not like
4
it's the
inches, maybe
fiber.
4
It's not like
inches up.
it's, like, couldn't she just leave it
I think
and then
it's,
topsoil and seed and
they
Let
have
the stones go back to
disposal
nature?
of the wood chips and the debris, $950, but I don't know if if they thought that was the debris.
Yeah.
Whatever they might find.
Yeah,
I think that's all negotiable, but it's.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
we
it's-
needed
a
a,
number to start
We
with.
needed a number.
Yep.
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yes.
Okay.
So,
And
we
they were
just-
really good, because I forgot a day and I just emailed them last night and.
Yeah.
That's
this
great.
is Here today, so.
That's
so
great.
that's that. Okay, that's the playground. Now let me put in the time. And then, so the grant. And I know, that was my volunteer thing to do, but I spent a lot of time already just looking at this pre-approval document. And, and I was meeting with Duncan tomorrow to go over some pieces that, oh, you have to have, there's 5 different forms that you have to have, and there were several that I couldn't. They're town things that they have to answer. But I want to tell you, yesterday, after you were looking this up, I am not sure that this is the right grant for us, because there's a couple places, and I really didn't have time to go over this enough today to know, but here's one note on page 13 in the workbook. All project sponsors must wait for a fully executed grant agreement before beginning this project. Here's another page. It says, do not enter a contract agreement with a vendor prior to receiving a fully executed grant agreement, or it may disqualify you from receiving a grant. Well, the time we're talking then, okay, I would have to, I have to get approval. This is the pre-approval process that I would be going through to even be allowed to apply for the grant, to be accepted to apply for it. Then you set it in June to October. I think it has to be about October. Then it's the National Park Service reviews it from July 2025 to January 2026. Then you might get the agreement and notification by February 2026. And then your time frame to implement, and I don't get that, says could be from that time, 2026, has to be done by 2028. So I don't know if we're trying to get this done by next summer or if this is reasonable. I just wanted to be sure, that we would know we could
Is there-
not
Is there a
start doing
number
it.
that you could, or email that you could actually talk with a
Well,
human?
yes, I've got it. That's just what that was my plan today, but then
Yeah.
other things happened. So, yes, I want to do that, and I want to find out, because there's several notes that contradict each other, and they do have numbers, they're willing to help a lot, but, even another place, pre-planning cost incurred 3 years prior to project submission may be allowable if identified in the project agreement. So I don't even know what that means. Like, can we get covered? Well, we really haven't spent money
No.
itself on the playground,
No.
but so anyhow, I just want to be sure. I'm not going to put any more time into it till I know these answers. And then I just wanted to know from you folks, like, so if we if we would get the grant, which would be, I mean, I'm with all these prices, the select, we'd have to, it's a matching grant. So I'm saying that would be like $240,000. I don't have the exact. So the matching would be like 120,000. I mean, it's worth it. But
It's,
if we want to know that we definitely would not be starting any building next year.
I mean, it sounds like
which
you wouldn't
I
even
don't know
start
that
until
we
like
would be.
2026 or 2022.
Yeah, it said June 2026 could start. Because that would be, we know from, but the part that made me nervous was you can't even enter a contract agreement. And I thought, man, I don't know.
I think that the whole process works best when somebody is starting from scratch. And they're sort of thinking, okay, we have this area, we wanna, they're doing long-term planning, whereas ours is more imminent that we wanna get it done.
Yes, but the thing is, from the information I got from them, she said it's better to have a shovel-ready project to submit. If you don't have that, then you should go to this other grant. So it's like,
Yeah.
this is why I'm
Double ready?
yes. So just the booklet to read for the pre-application forms is 25 pages long. So that's why, and I did an hour webinar, but I want to call, I will get
Mhm.
more confirmation. But I guess I kind of want to know what you think. It's money that's worth it. Do we think we would ever possibly be able to have this started next summer? That's, I guess,
Well, it sounds like from what they
no,
say.
not without the grant. I mean, if we,
Oh.
like, is it even feasible that we would, I mean, is that our goal is to kind of have it all submitted and
I
out of
think
our
that
hands by then, but.
if I had to guess
Mhm.
personally, I don't think that we would be started next summer. But I would hope that we would be contracted with somebody and that they would just maybe be too late in the season to start it that year. And then
Mhm.
they would do it the following year. But that my hope would be, we would have had a plan approved and be going out for the bid process and starting that part of the process would be my personal hope.
And you do, part of the whole work plan is say when you're gonna submit the bids, say when you're gonna hope the bids are back, and just, I guess you just don't say, sign a contract by June 26th, 2026 in the plan.
Yeah, that's my
So
personal
it's-
hope in the timeline is, again, not that we're contracted, not that we're ready to go and break ground, but that we have a plan approved by the select board and they're starting to go through the bid processes. They're starting to
Okay.
go through the permitting, whatever they need to do, the stuff that we're doing now for
Yes,
Brown's Court.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's
Would be what
15
I'd be
months-
correct.
hoping.
15
and so that
months
took
ago.
long enough, so this could be that we would not have a contract signed until the end of June,
If,
Just
for a
25,
playground, maybe.
25 though.
just for the playground. Just
the-
because I'm only, boy, I tell you, if I would have looked ahead of time, this would have been for the whole project. This is very much about building, there's 3 examples of wording for playgrounds in a flood zone and how to make things more resilient. So it's the right grant. It was just like, I just was concerned about the time frame. And it's called a community grant, so it is, all these small towns. And so that part of it all sounded right. I just really I needed to know the time frame, what you thought before I went to this. And so, I mean, I guess Justin would still know he's in the
running.
running. And I know we can't really, I have to say, according to the 3 bids, the estimate is, even in the work
Yeah.
plan, you don't identify the
Yeah.
people yet, so I don't know. So if you think that signing a contract on June, but no, next summer is 2025.
25, not
We want to sign a
26.
contract by next summer, right? No, not even
won't be there.
we don't even be there by then.
I don't think we'll have signed a contract by if I had to guess, by next summer. But it'll likely be before summer of 2026. Isn't that the date you gave?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's when we would know, that's when the grant would be.
Which you still
approved.
couldn't have signed a contract by then.
Correct. The day the grant's approved, we could. have the
But
contract.
I think you would have a signed
Contract
contract
before
before
2 years.
summer of 2026.
I know, that's what I'm hoping. So
I
I
think
could keep
sure the
I could keep doing this forever.
this time, okay, so part of this, this even has to be reviewed by the National Park Service, even though this is through the Vermont VOREC, the Vermont Organization for Recreation. It's considered a land,
Land and water.
yeah, Land and Water Conservation Fund is where that's coming from, the Land and Water Conservation Fund, and their big push right now is making things more flood resilient. So we definitely would have
Mhm.
the right project. It's,
Why don't you?
Do we wanna hold
just
this-
touch base? So why don't you if everybody agrees, I would say call them, get more information, send us out an email, but remember, nobody respond to Jeannie.
yeah.
She's just gonna send info out, but don't respond.
And then even the other thing I thought about, I could just at least continue on and get the pre-approvals in. It might not even get approved to
Exactly.
apply for the grant. So I
Mhm.
could do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm halfway there. I'm 3/4 of the way there. So I could do that much and just
And take it from
make
there.
the timeframes match this in
Right,
my pre-application. And then we could decide, do we want to continue on with the process or not,
If you get approved.
if we get approved.
To
Approved to apply. How do you like it?
Approved to apply.
We have to circle back and schedule meetings.
So,
Okay,
okay, thank you.
you're good? Everybody's good?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that funny?
So-
Before you even start talking, I wrote a note, update on grant.
Yeah, well,
All right, so we're back to
that's where we are.
next meeting to be scheduled.
So the main part is we've got the application. We've got to keep that moving no matter if we're meeting or not.
I think we need to have a quick meeting in December, just to make sure Duncan's on board. He's got everything he does, so we don't have any more delays. We can't afford any more delays. I mean, we thought we were gonna be on that thing in October, and then, okay, guaranteed November.
So estimated date of the DRB meeting, it's not on the calendar yet, but it says the second Wednesday, so the first is a Wednesday, so I count that as being January 8th. Now, if we kind of backtrack and say it has to have been warned 30 days,
Did you ever get a letter?
then we kind of backtrack to early December.
You can't send a letter unless they have a date.
Well, he had the
Right.
envelopes already. He had the envelopes already at our meeting we had on this table.
So it
Is
has to
there a
be
date?
warned 30 days before, so that puts us in, he needs to have done something, have it dated for the week of December 2nd to the 6th, because 30 days would be the 8th. That's what I'm just giving you the numbers of
Oh my
it.
God.
And we don't have
Okay,
yet
give
that
me those dates
engineering
again.
piece done.
Is it 30 or 15?
They said 30 when they came to our meeting, or somebody said it at one of our meetings, was the 30 days. Which is why we.
So if they have their meeting, they always have it at the second Wednesday of the month?
That's what it says online, is the
It's
second
like-
Wednesday of the month.
Second Wednesday of the month, but if they get really busy, they will sometimes do them on the fourth Wednesday of the month as well.
An additional one?
Mhm.
But they wouldn't in December.
No, not.
Pretty sure. they
January,
wouldn't
we're
do
talking
it.
January,
No,
January.
December. Oh,
January,
January, okay.
January.
so they could do a second one in January, that would be the 22nd. But currently scheduled would be just that second Wednesday,
So Duncan would have to get all the paperwork in and done by,
the 8th. Well, technically, that's when they'd have to have warned it by, is the 8th of December. So however long it takes him to,
Well, he's pretty
Warren.
close. If these 5
Yeah.
things are the only thing you need. We've got-
it's the last two that are
The right, as long as he gets that.
okay, so I will talk, that'll be my fourth thing I discussed with Josh.
is that needs to be sent out tomorrow
By December,
to request the engineers to do that.
by December second.
Yeah,
It's not like you
We
already, didn't you?
he's
think you
reaching,
already-
he's reached out to,
He has, okay.
Yeah.
So it needs to be like in the warning process that week of December 2nd sometime.
and if he's close, I don't know why he can't warn it, and he can
Exactly,
always cancel.
exactly.
So when do
So-
we wanna meet?
I don't know there's
I don't
gonna be
know that
anything
us
that we
meeting-
can do.
I don't know that that is us meeting. I think we just need to have it on our radar to poke it that week. Like, I don't know that we need to meet about that.
Cause there's nothing we can,
And you don't think that John and Ben will have anything for us?
So then that,
in-
yeah, that's we certainly won't that early.
No.
So John and Ben's stuff is likely in the early parts of January,
Yeah, I
I
would-
would guess,
Mhm. Well.
if even.
if even then.
Yep. I don't wanna put any pressure on them.
So,
Mhm.
well, I think what we do is we schedule something for the early parts of January. If we don't have anything from them, we cancel and reschedule. Is my thought.
Sounds good to me.
So
What are
we're so I'd say we have it on our radar for somebody to poke and find out about this DRB stuff in the week of December 2nd. And then we schedule our next meeting for,
When you meet
In
with Duncan
January.
tomorrow, are
Mhm.
you comfortable saying, you realize all your stuff's gotta be done by December seconds.
Mhm.
that week. It needs to be warned by the 8th
And
of
just go
December.
ahead and. Yeah, it's gotta be warned by December 2nd. Just to make sure he has that.
Right, so that all of us are not
Doing
bothering Doug.
Contacting him,
Yes.
exactly.
That's
One
why I said,
person-
that's why I said one person should be the one
Denise,
who's,
It really, Jeannie can bring him the information, but it really has to be one person
Mhm.
like you.
Right.
That
keeps following
keeps
it.
following up.
That's
I
what
can point it out tomorrow.
Point
And
it
then
out
you
tomorrow.
follow
Say
up.
Denise
I
is gonna
will-
be
Then
following
I'll
up.
come in the following Tuesday or the following Thursday and say, okay, Duncan, what do we need to do to help you? And that's what I've been doing. I've been coming in and say, what can our committee do? We're worker bees. What do you need us to
Mhm.
do?
So then our next
So it has to be
meeting,
warned by
And then
December.
when I went in,
2nd.
this is when this came up.
30 days before January 8th. You can say it like that. However long their warning process takes, you know. So our meeting would then be potentially to discuss
Presentation.
something from John and or something from Bob.
Yep.
If we don't have either one of those things, we push back meeting.
What about mid-January?
But we're definitely all gonna be attending the DRB.
Yes, whenever it is.
So if we say sometime the week of that, not the week of the DRB meeting, the next week after that is the week of January 13th through the 17th. We meet that week.
And could you just put a note in
Tentatively.
the minutes? Denise has gone from the 10th to the 22nd.
So then we have to go further than that.
Well, you could. No, I'm
You're
going from
the
the 10th to the
liaison with some of these
22nd.
people, so
I know.
Is that January or December?
Oh.
January.
that leaves us,
Yeah, and then I'm gone the last week of January, but. and
The 20
each week,
Did
so-
that mean-
You can still,
I
You're
think
here, so let's do the
the
23rd.
23rd,
Okay.
Thursday, the 23rd.
my mom's birthday. Good. Job. keeping
So,
us
do you want update on, meetings?
next
Because
week.
tentatively, it's
Yeah,
gonna
just a
be
second. 1, 2. next
January
week.
8th,
Mhm.
When's our next meeting? January 23rd.
23rd. And then January 8th.
Well, in the select board meeting, we need to be on the December 2nd one to get Bob's $2,000 proposal.
No, I
No,
don't
we don't
think-
have
I
to.
You don't think you will?
I'm gonna
Okay,
ask
he's gonna ask
Josh
So
because
if
it-
we need to be, then.
Yeah, if we need to be.
Okay.
When is
And-
the
oh.
next DRB meeting?
January 8th, tentatively.
That is something.
That's not the next one. That's the one we'll probably end up on, because there's one in December, but we will not make that one.
I have another meeting that night.
Okay,
Already pushed out.
okay.
And I did think of an important thing. That was supposed to be my grant stuff. If, after talking to Duncan tomorrow, I have to find out if I have to have the matching grant, the matching money guaranteed by before I do the
Oh,
pre-proposal.
Josh just needs to write a
And,
letter.
right, and Josh said it should not come from me, it should come from our committee. And I said, yeah, I would think so. That's what it is, even though I've agreed to,
Yeah,
do the work. So I would just be asking him.
and
to
we'll
put
all
that
sign it.
simple.
So to circle back to since Denise is gonna be gone the week before our meeting, is there somebody else who's in contact? I would assume Fran, you're in contact with both John and Bob, not to push them, but to just check in with them that week before so that then you can cancel.
I mean, I may
essentially.
have been too optimistic. I think what Bob did and saw today, I think we're gonna have a report very quickly.
I would
Did you
think that we would,
feel, did you get any feeling?
Yeah, but he has to cost it. And
Yeah,
His
that's- let's
assessment
see.
is easier than his cost.
we are
Okay,
1, 2.
So our next meeting is January 23rd. If Bob Neal and Hillview
Six.
Collaborative both have,
7.
no, either have something for us
Right,
to
right,
look
right.
at.
That is 9 weeks from now, though. That's a long time. They could have something, but I don't mean to say push them. I just mean to say check in, so
Oh.
that then you can make a decision
definitely.
on,
Oh, I'll be talking
If
with
we
him
can
way
or not.
before then. I'll probably be talking, I'll definitely be talking.
you'll be checking in, but just
Yeah,
because you're away,
and we'll
just
touch
proceeding
base.
to that.
Yep.
To put it on somebody to check in, to then be
Mhm.
able to let us know that we should cancel if we don't have anything. That's all. And again, the same concept of not having a bunch of people harassing anybody.
But I'm overjoyed that the town signed a contract with the pickleball developer. Again, I'm just overjoyed.
Okay,
I
anything
move
else?
we
Any
adjourn.
pu-
Yes.
We'll just go, anything else? Any public comment from anybody that didn't get to speak?
No.
Okay,
Would you mind flashing up the picture of the pickleball court?
I don't know if I still have it up.
Was like this one on here?
It's, yeah, it's on that paper that you have. I just don't know if
Yeah.
I started exiting out of
It's a
everything.
paper, so.
Yeah, it is dark.
I don't know if I still have it.
Or maybe, or just send it to Tess so she can see the.
I
color
thought it
one
was
here than the black one.
sent to everybody.
What were you looking for?
Oh, I was just looking again at the. There's your core. Okay, trees here. One entrance here.
You don't get to wear
Side
them.
entrance on this side.
Yes.
Yeah,
The ball
That's
field
all
okay,
here.
okay. And we got trees, so, okay,
Yeah.
that's all. Okay, I'm good.
Okay,
good.
I'm like, I exited out of everything and oh, it was up on our site. That's where it was. Okay, never mind. You can also look it up. It's on the town website
Yeah.
as a
I've seen
link
it.
for us. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
It's hard to.
so you motioned to adjourn.
Yeah.
Does somebody second?
Yeah.
All those in
Megan.
favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
You too.
Jim, thanks for coming. Marcy, thanks for coming.